perhaps would be very
It would be helpful.
helpful. Okay, so Tara, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? And we have Reverend
Vernava.
Vernava.
An Italian.
Reverend
an
Vernava
Italian.
It's like Verna.
Yeah.
from Old Steeple Church in Aquabog. Would you like us to sit or stand? Your pleasure. We're all standing.
Standing.
Well, remain standing if you're comfortable standing, folks, and we'll pause for a moment to pray, to settle our spirits. Are you ready?
We're ready.
All right. Here we go. Loving, gracious God, it gladdens our heart to contribute to the business of the town this day. It gladdens our heart to raise our voice and to have our say. We pray now your presence, that we might listen well to one another, that we might speak carefully and truly, that we might offer our very best in the very best way that we know how. Settle our spirits where we feel anxious or upset. Grace our speech and provide those of us who are leading, our supervisor and our council people, wisdom and insight as they deliberate and guide all of the work of the town this day. We do pray in your holy name, and I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Reverend Vernava, thank you very much from Old Steeple Church in Aquabog. A very good message. Appreciate that. All right, John. Oh, wait, do we have a? It would be a good day for a dog. Do we have a dog today? Oh boy. Well, we have dogs available for adoption, and we usually bring them in at the 2 o'clock board meeting at the town animal shelter, and it's a shame we should have brought him in, because I know there's a parent in there for one of our dogs here. So seek the animal shelter, the website, Norfolk Animal Welfare League, and adopt a dog. Okay, John?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the town board meeting of November 18, 2014. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The minutes are approved. Under correspondence, we had many letters with regard to the public hearings pertaining to the highways, streets, and sidewalks, and the addition of certain private roads as Chapter 189 highways. There were 11 names listed on letters and petitions wishing to keep their private roads and requesting that the town remove those private roads from the proposed list to be adopted. 25 letters from residents expressing concern over the municipal services to the private roads and request that the town continue to provide the same services that have been provided for over 10 years. Under Conservation Advisory Council correspondence, the recommendation of the following applications were given to the town board. There were 4. Resolution 24, 25, 26, and 27, and those are CAC resolutions. Under reports, the sewer district submitted their discharge monitoring report for October. Town clerk monthly report for November was $9,908.73. Under applications, Strong Island Kids Mountain Bike Race at Ship Scout Reservation in Wading River, and that's March 28, 2015. East End Emerald Society of St. Patrick's Day Parade on Main Road, Jamesport, March 21st, 2015. And that's it.
Thank you.
All right. Any other town board reports?
Just the bonfire is all set for the 13th of December this year. It's a Saturday night, 4 to 8 on the riverfront behind the old Sears, and Santa Claus will be there at 5. And also we have next week the bid will be doing fireworks after the bonfire. So at 8 o'clock there'll be fireworks down on Main Street. So
I love Santa.
it's going to be a great event this year.
Sunday, 1 o'clock, we're gonna have a Welcome Santa Claus Parade, on Main Street. Santa Claus is gonna be there to greet the kids and to, let them sit on his lap and take pictures. So that's at 1 o'clock. It starts at Osborne Avenue and ends up in behind, Sweezy's, the old Sweezy store, on the river.
Okay.
And that's this Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Any other town board reports? No? All right. We have a public hearing scheduled for 2:05, which I'm going to open. It is now 2:09. We open a public hearing for the consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 106 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Waterways, Article 3, Anchoring and Abandoned Vessels. And we've been at this a couple of times. This is to make it clear that no person shall use a boat equipped or operated with any electric motor in excess of 10 horsepower in the Peconic River west of the dam in Grangeville Park, or any gasoline motor in the same area. And that's it in a nutshell. We've actually had this public hearing before, but the language has been changed
I
a
think you
couple
got it
times.
right this time, Bob.
Does anybody wish to be heard on this matter?
We'll see.
Okay, not
We'll see.
seeing anybody. We're going to close the public comment portion and leave it open for written comment until December 12th, Friday, December 12th, 4:30 in Diane Wilhelm, the town clerk's office. Okay. So we have two public hearings scheduled for 2:10. It is now 2:10. This is the first public hearing is to hear all interested parties concerning the addition of certain roads attached in Exhibit A to the public hearing notice within the town of Riverhead in conjunction with the proposed local law to amend Chapter 92 entitled Highways, Streets, and Sidewalks. I hereby open that public hearing. And then I hereby open the second public hearing, and this is a consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 92 of the Riverhead Town Code, Highways, Streets, and Sidewalks, Article 6, Highways by Use, Highway Law, Section 189, and Article 7, Severability. So what we're going to do, I hereby open that section. What we're going to do is, Gio, would you like to speak first, or do you want to wait to the end?
Can I
I
just
was
say,
kind of hoping that.
Well, let me just see what Gio wants to do first.
Well,
Okay,
I
let
had a
Bob
couple-
open it. I'll have you come. I just want to see whether you want to go first. Okay, Bob?
Yeah, I have a couple of comments. I would have preferred the order of the public hearings be the other way around, that the first one would deal with the amendment of Chapter 92 to add a subsection entitled Highways by Use, and then the second one be the one that would be adopting the roads that would be incorporated into the Section 189. Doesn't matter because both are being called at the same time. Both hearings are open for your testimony, and your testimony will be received in conjunction with both of those public hearings. Hoping that maybe some of the initial comments will address some of the questions that have been raised, some of the concerns that have been addressed. I'm going to address first the proposed amendment to Chapter 92 and what would result if the town board were to accept or adopt those changes. First, as set forth in the proposed Section 92, new Section 9221 of the town code, the town board is looking to establish by testimony, and we're going to be looking to swear all parties in today so that their testimony will be sworn to as to two-prong test. The first prong of the test is whether the community in which you reside has been open to the public at large, as opposed to just the community members and guests. The second test is whether the town of Riverhead has and that's for 10 years or more. The second prong of that test, as set forth in the proposed Section 92-21, is to determine whether the town has, for a 10-year period or more, plowed snow, patched, done sanding, or other storm-related abatement type of measures.
The next section, which I think is somewhat significant, and I want to stress this one, is what happens if the town board were to adopt these changes, and that's the proposed section 92-22. And it sets forth, I think in fairly clear terms, what it is that will be acquired or what will be deemed acquired if you come forward and present testimony as described just moments ago, and the town board chooses to take the road as a 189 under this legislation. And that is that the public at large, not just the town, will be deemed to have the right, and these are the words right out of the legislation, the right to walk, bike, drive, and conduct any lawful activity on the roads as if the roads were dedicated to the town of Riverhead. What does that mean for those who are in private communities? You will no longer be able to keep your private community signs up. They will have to come down if you wish to be accepted as a 189 road. It will be, as part of this legislation, that the public will gain that right. While we are describing the roads as if they've been dedicated to the town, the language at 92-22 as proposed is only looking for the town to acquire a surface easement. And the surface easement as described in that legislation is over the roads for the width and length as they are, as of the date they are adopted by the town as part of this 189 legislation. The legislation is not anticipating, I believe that the highway superintendent will probably testify to the same thing. No widening of roads, no opening of roads, no drainage, no curbing. It'll include only basic maintenance. The legislation that's before you is similar to an upstate communities legislation, the town of Cortland, and that's the way it's been described on that website, and I believe that it'll be the same here. It'll be basic maintenance. As the final part of it, it's sort of a repeat of what the law says. It indicates that, and this is pro section 92-25, that those roads that remain private, it would be a violation of law for them to be plowed or otherwise maintained unless there's a state of emergency declared. What we're looking for is for testimony in conjunction with both hearings. First and foremost, to hear from you whether we have it right, whether this town legislation to adopt roads by 189 makes sense. If it's not the way it should be done, let us know that. Provide us with what you think may be a better solution or another way to deal with this issue. The second part, which is again the incorporation of the roads into the system, is to hear from you. I would ask that you identify your name, the community you live in, the road you live on. I'm going to ask you to be sworn under oath to testify as to how long you are familiar with the town undertaking plowing or sanding or other practices. And that's, I think, it fairly in a short summary. Probably could go on because I'm sure there's going to be other questions that are going to come out. And at this point, it's my understanding the board will weigh your testimony, will weigh your consideration, and will be looking to adopt by separate resolution, if the Chapter 189 legislation is adopted, those roads that are to be incorporated as part of that amendment to Chapter 92 and become these Town of Riverhead Section 189 roads. Did I get it fairly? Okay, thank you.
Can I just ask one question? If a road is not on this, can we add it to it if the people on that highway or that roadway wants it incorporated after this hearing? Because I've had one phone call, which a road is not on this list.
If the code is adopted the way it is, the town board will solicit testimony, again, to establish those two-prong tests and add it to the 189 roads as well. The list, that's, I think, 49 roads that were included as Exhibit A. There may be roads that may be coming off. I understand we did receive some written comments from groups that want to remain private, so they will not be part of the final resolution that adopts the roads, but there may be other roads that will be considered.
All right,
Yeah.
so I want to try
Thank
to
you.
handle this systematically. Diane, do I have, we need to incorporate everything, the correspondence. Do I have the entire correspondence file? Or do you have your correspondence file?
You have the copy, yes.
I have
think
copies.
you have, yeah. There might have been one or two that came late today.
Okay, so, I don't think we have to read them, but I want to, Bob, just give the name of maybe the road, just so we get each one in on the record, that it's in the record, and if somebody wants them, they can come see them at the town clerk's office. So Diane, do you want to kind of just read the letters that came in, because I want them part of the record?
You want to read them? Well, some of them are
You don't have to read the-
exactly this. What do you want me to read?
Just the name of the individual that submitted the letter,
Okay,
and the road if you can, and the
if they're
date of the
for or
letter.
against, right?
okay. Let me start with the ones
Are
that were.
are they split up for or against?
Right. The ones that are opposed, they want to remain as private roads, and they want their names, the name of the road to be removed from the list. Tony Alfano was a spokesman for the Cedar Court Civic Association. And there was a list, like a petition of residents for Maple Lane in Laurel. You want me to read their names or not necessarily?
No, I think that's
Just
good.
the-
I
okay.
think that's a good synopsis.
Okay. And
What's the date of that letter?
Oh, I received, December 1st was the first one, and then the petition was November 25th. And then there was Aquabog Homeowners Association, and that was Bay Avenue, Willow Street, and Locust Street in Aquabog. And I received that on November 24th.
And they don't want their roads included? Okay.
Correct, those were the people who did not want their roads
Bay,
included.
Willow, and what?
Locust.
Locust, Bay, Willow, and Locust in Aquabog.
Laura's taking-
That's not by the
Laura's taking
motel.
notes. We're taking notes too, so.
And you have, so how many people signed the first petition for Maple Lane, and how many people signed the second one?
There was only one petition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 names on the petition for Maple Lane in Laurel.
That are a no?
Correct. And then the other one was not a petition, but Anthony Cravata was the spokesperson. He's the president of the Aquabog Homeowners Association, so he wrote the letter on their behalf.
All right, what else you got?
Okay.
There's quite a few of them.
Yep, there are quite a few. This is, these now are all the ones who want, who want to be part of it. Let's see, I have, do you want the numbers too, 50 Breezy Point, or should I just give the street?
The street and the
Okay.
person that wrote the letter.
All right, Irene Schillmayer, Breezy Point Road in Wading River. Mary Veronica McKinnon, Breezy Point Road in Wading River. Roger, excuse me if I say this wrong, Masiati, Bayside Avenue in Jamesport. Janet and Al Bartnick, 49 Doug's Lane, South Jamesport. Patricia May, 235 Overlook Drive, Accaborg. Gary Crowther, 29 Pie Lane, Jamesport. Ed Hocker, 242 Overlook Drive, Accaborg. Then there were phone calls. You want me to mention that also? Or,
Yeah, you
Okay.
can.
Okay.
That's a little harder to deal with.
yeah, well, Beach Club Civic Association, Forest Lane, Wading River, Hickory Court, and Primrose Baywood. I don't know what that, I didn't write that. I'm not sure exactly what that means. And then we have, all these letters here are from Oak Hills in Bating Hollow. And so that's, Judith Miller was the president of Oak Hills Association. I don't know if I had a street address for her. Patricia Johnson, Harper Road. Stephen Akalik, Oak Avenue. Robert and Deborah Doyle, Oak Avenue. Oh, excuse me, those are Oak Drive.
And they're all for the roads being,
Right,
Okay.
right. They, pretty much it was a form letter with a few exceptions. They were, basically, it was a form letter that they all sent in. Monica Gabriel, Maple Road. Sue Ann Taylor, Harper Road. Ruth Avery Gibson, Park Place. Avery Gibson, I don't know if that's a different person, that's also Park Place. Louis and Linda Paliotto, Cedar Road. James and Marie Smith, Oak Drive. Arthur Henderson, Fern Road West. Ernie Lewis, Oak Drive. Marina Teray, Fern Road. Stacy Smith, Oak Drive. John Lamondola, Oak Drive. Mr. and Mrs., wasn't sure of this one, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Barher, Glen Road West. George Dwyer, Laurel Lane. Richard Moyles and Gail Cole, Oak Drive. George and Eileen Edenfield, Glen Road in Calverton. And that's about it.
All right, so what we're gonna do before the highway superintendent gets started, what I'd like to do is take all the people that are for roads first, being included in the inventory, and all the people that are against roads being in the inventory, we'll take you at the end of the meeting. And what we're asking is, it's a very specific things. If you have questions, if we can answer them, we're gonna try to just take testimony. To the extent we can answer a question that's short, we will. But we're trying to take testimony, so the testimony we're looking for, the town attorney, Bob Kosikevich, gave you a good synopsis. The road you live on, how long you lived on it, how long it's been plowed or not been plowed, been open to the public, not been open to the public. And it's kind of, I don't want to say short and sweet, but we have to evaluate that testimony. And so there's a lot of you, and I know there's people out in the hallway, and I want to try to move this along. My suspicion, just based on the letters here, are Oak Hills. How many people are from Oak Hills? Okay, so I'm going to let the Oak Hills community go first, and that may free up, if they choose to leave, some seats, and so we can move this along. And then if you could, if there are other communities, which I think they are, if you could stay together and give testimony together, it makes it a little easier for us. And I don't know the next largest community, but if you figure out who the next largest community is here, we would take you next, and we'll try to move along and get you through this as soon as possible. So we have the highway superintendent, George Woodson. Bob, I guess you're going to swear the highway superintendent in?
I am.
Do I need to swear? I just have a couple of comments. Do I need to sworn in?
You know, you make your comments, and then after your comments, then I'll have you sworn in, correct?
Glad this day has come. Today we get clarification on some things that have been going on here for years. Today we get it clarified so everybody knows where the highway department stands. Couple things. At no time was there going to be any safety issues here. There was a big snowstorm and you live on a private road and an ambulance or a fire truck needs to get down your road, we were coming down your road. So that was one of the big issues, safety, getting the people. All that went out the window when it comes to fire department or EMS personnel getting to your road. So I just want to clarify that. Also, only the roads that we have been plowing over the years. I had a list of 41 roads. I saw another list of 70 roads. I don't have the personnel to do all that. So it only consists of the roads we have been plowing. I will consider, if people don't want to be on under this 189, I will consider adding roads to it, but I can't take them all. I will take some, and that's all I have to say right now.
Okay. Mr. Highway Superintendent, if you could stay there, I'd like to have you testify if you would. I'm going to ask you to be sworn in the oath.
I have Ronnie Caffrey here too.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. State your name and your position for the record.
George Woodson, Highway Superintendent for the town of Riverhead.
Okay. Mr. Woodson, when were you first elected Highway Superintendent?
2008.
Okay. So that you mean you took office in January 2008? You won the 2009?
Yes.
2008 was the election, 2009 you took office?
I became Highway Superintendent.
Okay. And you've served in that capacity since January 2009?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And prior to being elected and taking office as Highway Superintendent, did you work for the town of Riverhead?
I worked there prior, for about 25 years prior to being elected into office.
What was your date of hire and what department were you employed?
Highway Department, I believe it was September 1985 I started there.
All right, so from September of 1985 to today's current date, you've been employed in or elected and worked within the Highway Department. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be 29 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And are you familiar with the list of roads that were included as Exhibit A to the hearing today?
Yes.
Okay. Had you had a chance to familiarize yourself with that list?
Pretty much all of them.
Okay. And in your role as Highway Superintendent, and in your prior capacity working for the highway department, what type of jobs or what type of things did you do for the highway department?
Started off as a laborer, worked my way up to crew leader, patching, paving, equipment, operations, tree work, pretty much a little bit everything.
Okay, would that include snow plowing and sanding?
Yes,
Okay. And do you yourself, have you engaged in snow plowing and sanding operations?
yes,
Do you continue to do so?
yes,
Okay. So, again, for the 29 years, you're familiar with roads throughout the town that have been either plowed or sanded,
yes,
as well as patched?
yes.
Okay. Now, with respect to the list that's Exhibit A today, what would your testimony be with respect to whether they've been plowed or have not been plowed?
Of the list I saw, the roads were plowed. Going back a minute, I believe when I started there in 85, the private roads were done as a courtesy, only after 6 inches of snow. After that, we changed up and plowed all of them. Up until the point where the highway department got threatened with litigation, I had to come out and see what this was all about and get information from my town attorney.
Okay. Now, in addition to these roads being plowed, would they have been sanded, or would there have been other type of snow removal operations performed?
Some of them may have been sanded, I'm not 100% on that, but it was mostly plowed
Okay.
with snow.
Okay. How about patching or other basic maintenance?
On occasion, I wasn't everywhere at every time. They could have been, some of them could have been patched or hot patched.
Are you able to identify any particular roads that you would be familiar with from the list that would have been patched from time
There's
to
a
time?
few on there.
Can you identify them by name, please?
I believe one may have been Woodchuck Hollow, Red Fox Court, I believe they're in Wading River. There's a couple around, I don't have a list in front of me.
Okay. Would you like to see the list? Would it help refresh your recollection as to, okay. You can hold on to that and take a second and look at it.
I believe at this time, most of them were probably patched and the dirt roads were graded. And at that time, the intent was to make the roads, graded the roads and patch them for safety as far as ambulances, fire trucks, things like that, to get down the roads.
Okay. In addition to the roads listed, are there any other roads? Well, you already testified that. Let's strike that. Now, you heard me mention earlier that the intention here is to take the roads in their width and their length as they presently exist.
Yes.
Is that your intention?
Yes,
Okay. Do you intend to install curbing or drainage?
no.
Okay. I don't know if the board has any questions.
George, the only question, if some of these roads, I think there may be one or two that people want excluded, you're okay with excluding them if they ask?
I don't have a problem.
Okay. Did you want to have Mr. Caffrey testify as well? It's,
Only if you have any, I just brought them down because
I mean, I think
if
you
you had
pretty
any
much addressed the
specific
road.
questions for him, being he was in before I was.
just buttress it with Mr. Why don't we just have it buttress the testimony with Mr. Caffrey as well? So we have you and the deputy, and that goes more than 10 years. Is that okay? Ron, where are you? Didn't he?
Speak out, please.
Ron, come on up. We love you, Ron Caffrey. I know. Ron's been here before. How you doing, Mr. Caffrey? If you could raise your right hand and
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And your name and your
Ron
position, and your position.
Foreman, Town of Riverhead Highway, been there 34 years.
Okay. Had you served in any other capacity with the highway department in the past?
I was deputy superintendent for approximately 8 years.
Okay. And 34 years, you said? Okay. Now, in that time, did you do the same sort of things that the highway superintendent testified to, plowing and other maintenance type of things?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the roads that were listed as Exhibit A? If not, I would ask the superintendent to hand that to you.
Pretty much,
Okay,
yeah, all the ones in Wading River.
okay, and there's other roads that are outside of Wading River that are included in that list. If you could just take a chance to look at them and tell me whether you would agree that the town has plowed or otherwise conducted snow operations for 10 years or more.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. And that would be with respect to all the roads on that list?
Probably at one time or another, yes, we've done everything on here.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Any other questions?
No, that's good. All right, so, thank you, Mr. Caffrey. I neglected another group of people that might have questions that are just for the board. If we can answer them, that will unfortunately take the questions, not necessarily specific road related, at the end. So I guess if we could start with the Oak Hills community first, that would be great, and line up Oak Hills, come up to the podium and line up behind the first speaker, and we'll try to be as systematic as we can.
You want positive first, negative second?
Positive first. Positive first. All right, if you'd step up, Ms. Miller, if you could state your name. If you could state your name, full name, where you're from for the record, and I think you'll spell this one easily, Diane. And Bob will swear you.
All right. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, and again, as the supervisor pointed out, your name, your address, and how long you've lived there.
Okay. My name is Judith Miller. I live at 21 Laurel Lane in Bating Hollow, and I am president of the Oak Hills Association.
Okay, and I don't want to get into a question and answer. I'm going to ask you to go through a narrative type of fashion, what services the town has provided over the years, whether it's been more than 10 years, and if you can testify as to how long it's been great. And secondly, that second prong, which is the question of whether the community has been open to the public at large.
Yes, on both
Okay.
counts.
All
Okay.
right.
I'll just go through it's very short.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. I've been a member of the Oak Hills community for most of my life. Actually, I was born into this community, but only summered and visited on weekends until my father retired from the NYPD. We then moved here permanently, and I eventually built my own home, and I have lived in it for 39 years. During that time, I worked and then retired from the Riverhead schools. I never missed a day of work due to a snowstorm because the roads were always passable, plowed, sanded, and salted. Our association has always been grateful for the services we receive from the town. They vacuumed drains, they maintained lighting, water lines, picked up leaf and storm debris, and patched our roads. We hope these continue. The history of the Oak Hills Association can be traced back to 1947, when we received our certificate of incorporation, which was filed with the Department of State. Despite many challenges and obstacles over the years, we strive to meet the needs of our members, our community, and our town. Our community was deeply disturbed by the letter each resident received from Highway Superintendent Geo Woodson back in October. We were shocked that he was eliminating winter maintenance services without any discussion or advance notice. It took a while to understand how the implications from his announcement would affect our residents as well as hundreds of others in the town. We decided to take action. I placed phone calls to Supervisor Walter, attended 2 work sessions and 1 town board meeting. I met with others and constructed a letter outlining our position, one that you have received. Other residents wrote their own letters. Subsequently, the town board adopted a resolution that amends Chapter 92 of the Riverhead Town Code, one that includes determining highways that meet the criteria for 189. However, this resolution includes restrictions that were not included in the previous 2004 resolution that added 74 roads under the 189. Why should there be additional restrictions for Oak Hills in 2014? Why did the board adopt a resolution that only identified 2 of our 10 roads within Oak Hills, despite all roads receiving identical services? The other roads are Harper, Glen, Hickory, Kings Highway, Maple, Laurel, Cedar, and Park Place. Today's meeting is to receive input from the community regarding the resolution, and I hope these points are addressed. At a meeting last week with Mr. Walter, Mr. Woodson, and Mr. Kozakevich, we were asked to provide letters from the community members describing past services to their roads, and they had them notarized, and I have them all here.
You've submitted those already, though, correct?
No, I'm going to
Oh,
submit
good,
them.
thank you.
Okay. This was quite an undertaking, however, it was accomplished, and I will present them to you. I understand that several residents will also like to address the board. The Oak Hills Association had a community meeting last Saturday to discuss the issues. There were many questions and unresolved issues as well. The anxiety over the threat of not plowing was evident, and it was agreed that inclusion into 189 would solve the primary goal of receiving vital services. However, the failure to include all roads must be addressed. Also, the restrictions should be examined and removed to reflect what the 2004 resolution included. Among many other important responsibilities, the town board is required to provide a safe and secure environment for all of its citizens. Ceasing to provide basic road services is unthinkable and ensures a dangerous situation will develop. We would not impose unfair restrictions on any one community within the town. We should not be limiting service, but instead providing services that other roads within the town receive. After all, we pay the same amount of taxes that everyone else in the town of Riverhead pays. The letter of October 13th from the Oak Hills Association Board of Directors and Officers is also included. You have that as well. It strongly and clearly expresses our concern. Please read it again and consider what has been presented here today. I'm willing to meet with any of you at any time before the final decision is made. I thank you for your time and effort.
All right, Ms. Miller?
Yes.
That list of roads, that was all the roads in Oak Hills?
Oak Hills, yes.
Everyone, even the two that we did include?
The only two that you included was Oak and Fern.
And they were plowed and maintained as well
Right,
for 10 years?
absolutely.
Good. There's a lady right here that I think is going to be next, if that's okay?
Oh,
Can I
Marie?
just ask you a
Yes.
question?
Can I give this to,
Ye-
okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, you can.
There's more? Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Judy.
Hold on, let her get that.
Yes, I will. I will give you that right here. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Ms. Miller,
Marie, come on.
Judy,
Yes.
Ms. Miller, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Giglio? Okay.
how many homes are there how many homes are there?
82.
82. And is it your belief that the majority of the people would like the town to continue to maintain these services and agree with taking down the private road signs?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. We could take that microphone down. It just twists off there.
I can ask how many houses there are.
Okay.
That's my folder. That letter is that what you're going to read?
What do you need?
The letter's been made part of the record, so it's already part of the record.
The letter that I read to you at the meeting, she thought I had I didn't bring all my stuff with me.
Well, if she just gives her name, how long she's lived in the community.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you to swear under oath. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, and your name?
Ms.
Okay.
Smith, could you hold that a little closer to?
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, what, you want to testify as to where you live and how long you've lived there?
Okay, I think I wrote on my little note that, in my family, my mother were 5 sisters, and they were from the Lewin family in Bating Hollow, and they wanted to get together, as they left home, they wanted to get together for the summer, so they all built a summer place in Oak Hills. And, so I had lots of cousins, and one of my cousins was Lloyd Corwin Jr., and he and I had horses right by Oak Drive. And the day the town came in and paved the road, our horses were kind of nervous, so we went and spent the time watching the horses. And highway department people working on the road.
The town paved Oak Drive, what year was that?
I was 13, 71, 81. And Lloyd recognized his uncle up on the sand truck. So it was oil and sand, no bluestone in those days. And he recognized his uncle, and that was about it. Now, Lloyd did tell her sister yesterday that he also lived up at Oak Hills in the winter of 1955, and that the town plows the road then. So that's about the earliest that we can remember. He lived in his father's summer bungalow for the winter, and that's about it.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay?
Thank you for coming out.
I've written a little more formally, but that's the story.
Well, we have the written comment portion.
Oh, okay.
Did you get her?
Yes, I have it.
Beautiful.
And I don't have the part about him being there in the winter and being plowed. He just told us that story yesterday. So that's not written.
Thank you for giving us that testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, next person.
Hi, my name is Monica.
Do you swear the testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay.
My name is Monica Gabrielle. I'd like to offer my testimony for the record to the town board regarding the recent decision to stop snow removal services that my community has received for the past 20 years, over 20 years.
Tara, can you
They're
turn
having
the
trouble
mic up?
hearing you. Can you get the mic, I think, closer if you
can turn
possibly
it
can?
up.
How long have you lived in the community?
9 years,
Okay. And where do you live?
Maple Road.
Okay. You've been there for 9 years? Prior to that, did you reside in the community?
Relocated.
Okay.
And the roads have been plowed, sanded, and salted for the 9 years that I've been there. In addition to my road, all the roads in Oak Hills have been plowed and sanded, and they include the roads that our president has, Judy Miller has mentioned.
And what road was that again? I'm sorry, I didn't catch the road that you live on.
Maple.
Maple, okay.
And including to plowing, sanding, and salting, the town of Riverhead has also provided other services to our community. They include maintaining the street lighting, water lines, road patching, leaf and storm debris pickup, vacuuming our storm drains, and of course the garbage pickup. I pay my fair share of what I consider high taxes to the town of Riverhead, and I find it disturbing that fundamental snow removal for our small community of tax-paying citizens is suddenly being targeted for elimination. I asked the town board to consider what might happen should a medical or any other emergency arise during a major snowstorm. Who would be responsible and accountable if property damage or even death occurred because the emergency vehicles could not traverse our roads? When considering amendments, it is my fervent hope that the town board will include all roads within our Oak Hills community and designate them as Town of Riverhead 189 highways under the Highways by Use local law. Please recognize that snow removal is vital to the safety and security of the families living in our small community. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I guess the microphone's not working. Next.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to swear on that you give testimony about to give, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay. And your name?
My name is Janet Acklick. I live at 99 Oak Drive in Oak Hills. I also own property on Fern Road and Kings Highway. I've resided there for 33 years, and I just want to add to the testimony that for the 33 years that I've been a resident, the town has always come in. They have plowed, they have salted, they have sanded, they have done road patching, leaf cleanup, and everything else that has been mentioned before. I would like to see this continue. We have some elderly residents in the community who would be hard-pressed if the roads were impassable. So I thank you for taking the time to listen to my testimony, and I just want to confirm what's already been stated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robin Griffin. I reside at 30 Oak Drive in Bating Hollow, New York. I am currently the treasurer and a board of director of the Oak Hills Association. I have lived at my address for the past 19 years. Since 1995, when I relocated here, The town of Riverhead has provided the following services in our community: plowing of snow, sanding and salting of roads as necessary, vacuumed our storm drains, patched our roads, maintained street lighting, and picked up leaf and storm debris on the regular schedule, and of course we get street side garbage pickup. I pay highway taxes, and so does the Oak Hills Association Incorporated. There is even a line item for the highway taxes on our tax bill. Even though the association does not own any vehicles and traverse any roads, we pay these taxes. I can attest that Oak Drive, Harper Road, Glen Road, Kings Highway, Fern Road, Maple Road, Laurel Lane, Cedar Road, and Park Place have, at least for the past 19 years, been plowed, sanded, salted, and patched by the Town of Riverhead Highway Department. Please include all of these roads within this resolution. Although I understand you are only offering a limited Highway 189 service, you are still asking all who reside in Oak Hills and others in this resolution to completely give up our private road status. I find this unfair in comparison to the Highway 189 resolution passed in 2004, but do not oppose what you are offering, as I believe it is in the best interest of our community and for me. You see, our community finds it extremely difficult to collect assessments and dues. We are not your typical HOA. We are a property owners association that began in 1947. The only thing we all have in common is our roads and beachfront. Our forefathers did the best they knew how at the time with the paperwork, but unfortunately it fell short to adequately enforce the collection of money, so we do the best we can. So I implore upon you to include all the roads I referenced in your current resolution. In addition, it would be greatly appreciated if the other services such as leaf and storm debris pickup, cleaning of drains, street lighting, and garbage pickup continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Supervisor, may I just address one thing, because I know that there's been some reference to prior resolution, and whether there was a request that the private status be removed. It was not part of the resolution. However, it was understood that those roads were becoming public and no longer private. So I want to kind of stress that if a road was taken either by dedication or by 189 highway by use, or as it used to be called, highway users, they were considered to be open to the public. So that question, although it's been posed a couple of times, was not part of the prior resolutions, but it was part of the process that those roads in fact be open to the public and no longer private. So I just want to make sure that that distinction is brought out. When that was done previously, those roads were made open and passable to the public at large, similar to what is being proposed here with this change to this code. So that's not a distinction. All right, just to be clear. All right.
Sir?
Swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay.
My name is John Johnson, and I live on Harper Road. I've lived there for 32 years, Oak Hills. I'm on the board of directors, and as everyone else has said from our community, in the entire time that I've lived there, we've received plowing, salting, sanding, some limited road patching, and a question about our community being a private community. We get more traffic on Harper Road than probably many of the streets out in Riverhead town, because at the end of our road is the Boy Scout camp, and just down from us is the Order of the Arrow, and there's plenty of traffic on our road. That's not a private road. We don't have any signs up or anything like that. We don't have a gate in our community. And I'll also point out, we, as the other people have, that we get, leaf pickup, and we have a lighting district there. So we'd like that to continue, if possible.
Thank you, sir. The lighting doesn't change because you belong to the Riverhead Lighting District, so that doesn't change.
Okay.
Nor does the water service. Or the garbage. Okay, sir.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay.
My name is Lou Polizzato. I live at 24 Cedar Road, Bating Hollow. I've been there for, I'm going into my 12th year in Oak Hills. I've seen in the past and up till this year so far, they have been cleaning out the drains. They've been doing some road repairs, draining the drains, the road repair, also the water. They repaired water, Town of Riverhead Water District. They repaired the road, and I've seen a lot of maintenance up to this 12 years. I also would like to say that Mr. Wilson has done a good job in the past, and that is it.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Is anybody else from Oak Hills? All right, is there another? Mr. Goldstein?
Swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ed Goldstein. I reside at 21 Laurel Lane, Bating Hollow, part of the Oak Hills Association community. It's been my residence for over 20 years. I've greatly appreciated the services provided all these years by the Highway Department, ones that allowed with vital services to our community to be provided during winter storm months. These include mail delivery, garbage removal, repair of downed wires, Meals on Wheels deliveries, school busing, and delivery of fuel oil and propane gas. In addition to these services that are vital, there are issues requiring preparation for emergency service access, namely police, fire, and ambulance vehicles. And let's not forget the need for residents to be able to get to their places of work, some with community safety jobs. During each of my 20 years, the town has continually provided all these necessary services throughout various administrations. My first memory was during the tenure of Highway Superintendent Charlie Bloss, under Jim Stark's term in office. I might add that Mr. Stark recently told me that Mr. Bloss provided the services despite his budget being significantly cut. Mark Kwasner also served under Supervisor Phil Cardinal, and George Woodson under Mr. Walter. All provided the necessary emergency services to protect the health and safety of residents. The primary goal of both the residents of Oak Hills and town board members are identical: to continue the vital services we and other Riverhead residents have received for 20, 30, or more years. The support of the board has been greatly appreciated. Sadly, this has apparently not been the goal of Mr. Woodson, whose actions have been described by the supervisor as disrespectful and outrageous. I agree. Despite the good intentions of the town board, supported by the Oak Hills Association, the amendments proposed raise serious questions and concerns. It is a classic rush for adoption in order to beat the first snowstorm. It is a solution to a problem that never existed. It is seriously flawed. I recommend the board consider tabling the amendments to Chapter 92 for at least a year, and in its place take necessary steps to ensure all communities who have received these emergency services continue to receive them for 2014 through 2015. The devil is said to be in the details, and there are some pesky details included in the proposal. Amendments in 2014 are far more restrictive than 2004. Why? Should not all roads afforded 189 status be treated equally? First and foremost, the board approved a message that only included 2 of the many streets of Oak Hills, all of which received the same services for the past 20 years or more. My street was left out. Why? Apparently it was not a typo or inadvertent omission. The reason, as Mr. Woodson has stated, was he didn't have the resources to do more. And the solution was for Oak Hills residents to write a letter stating the obvious and have it notarized and presented to the board. His obvious bias was evident. Quite disturbing is the inclusion of wording that now defines services to be provided private roads only when it is declared by the superintendent to be a state of emergency. This is far more serious than the interpretation that has been in effect for countless years, ones that allow our roads to be maintained in order to allow emergency vehicles to provide for the health and safety of residents during snowstorms. It is an extreme measure that should be removed. It characterizes any proactive measures necessary and sensible as illegal. I do not understand and am concerned with the wording of the resolution, namely, the right of the public to traverse the area is made permanent. The public has always had the right to enter and leave Oak Hills. There are no restrictions, limitations, nor any consideration of trespassing. The sign placed years ago did overstate the details of our private community. It was made to discourage trespassing and solicitation, but not exclude. And I might add, politicians have solicited votes and petition signatures within Oak Hills for years without a concern. It is similar to a neighbor's beware of dog and protected by alarm systems signs on property. Though he does not have a dog, it does not have an alarm system. It is a sign that can be changed. My concern is what rights do we retain? To continue the ability to control parking for residents and others is vital, especially for Park Place, which is home to the Oak Hills Association overlook and staircase to the beach, and is our venue for annual parties. A full discussion is necessary. Also, I do not understand what acquiring a service easement over the roads entails. I am not sure anyone here does. It deserves an explanation. A tabling of the resolution would give our association the time to consider and present to the membership a broader proposal that would allow the roads to be turned over permanently and completely to the town and provide a lasting solution to the problem. This is merely an option, one that deserves to be explored, one I would possibly be in favor of. An important question lingers. Have town boards, supervisors, and highway superintendents been breaking the law for decades by taking measures to provide for the health and safety of its citizens in case of emergencies? I think not. All, including Mr. Woodson up to July of 2014, have maintained that these undedicated roads can legally obtain services because of the emergency nature inherent in plowing, sanding, and salting. Why the need for change? Again, why a rush to solve a problem that does not exist? And as Mr. Walter has stated, the town could face a lawsuit if it stops plowing a road that it has plowed for more than 10 years, even if it is a private road. I would like to conclude by reviewing the actions taken by Mr. Woodson. He has always been held in high esteem by myself and the Oak Hills Association. He has been a highly effective and hands-on superintendent. He has been welcomed and praised when he attended our Park Place block parties. When he spoke at Riverhead Rotary last spring and outlined his accomplishments, I personally thanked him for the excellent service he has provided Oak Hills. When he met with the Oak Hills Association president and another board member last July, he stressed that his obligation and long-standing legal practice of providing vital emergency services during the winter would continue. At that meeting, he was advised that the Oak Hills Association represents the community and that the president should be notified should there be questions or problems. Individual residents are not representative of the larger community. So what happened? At some time, it seems, an Oak Hills resident complained about damage from a snowplow and threatened to sue. I heard Mr. Woodson speak at a recent work session in which he described payments of many hundreds of dollars annually for mailboxes damaged during plowing. Why not an attempt to solve the resident's problem if it is valid and negligible? But certainly to notify the president, who would look into it and try to solve it. She with other board members have solved numerous problems and defused many situations brought to their attention. Or why not just let the person know that anyone can sue another? Suggest he put his problem in writing and leave it at that. Instead, he took it upon himself to not solve, but instead create a problem by putting the health and safety of hundreds of residents in danger. He proposed an absurd solution. In an emergency, call the police, who in turn will call someone at the highway department, who will then try to assemble the necessary equipment that might be successful in saving a life. He also suggested that roads are private because they have no exits to the outside, a position best characterized as having no basis in fact. His actions were described in a far better way in a letter that the Oak Hills Board sent out to residents. Oak Hills residents pay the full amount of taxes for roads and maintenance as other town of Riverhead residents. We have consistently for 30 or more years received sanding, salting, plowing services required for the health, welfare, and safety of our residents. Mr. Woodson's concerns with the lack of necessary funding, spurious claims of legality, reaction to a possible lawsuit for damage to a driveway by his plows, and an ongoing and public feud with the supervisor should not put the lives of hundreds of Riverhead citizens in danger. Again, we have many questions to be answered. But keep in mind, the present interpretation of emergency within the law, I believe, allows for necessary and sensible emergency actions to be taken. I urge the board to stand by your perfectly legal and sensible actions over the past 30 years and direct Mr. Woodson to continue the services he has been providing. Tabling this resolution and solving this winter's problems makes sense. Approving a resolution in haste before a winter storm arrives is not in the best interest of all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak from Oak Hills? Okay, other board presidents here. If you're a board president, raise your hand of various. All right, so why don't we start to have can you assemble each president assemble your community together and come on up? Let's start with the next board president.
You want only inclusions now? Or
Well, it's still inclusion. I think we have quite a bit to go on the inclusions.
All right. My name is Mary Epperline, and I do not wish to come under false pretense, but the president is away, the vice president is away. You have the treasurer of the Great Meadows Properties Owners Association.
Happy to have you. Thank you.
I'm also a resident of Lower Tuts Lane.
Okay, if you would raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God.
Okay, and again, I think we might have missed your name. Your name for the record?
That's easy to do. My name is Mary Epperline, Epperlein.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a letter here that you have already received, or if not, will receive by tomorrow. When the Great Meadows property was developed, it was agreed that the association would be formed to preserve the beach at the end of Tuts Lane. To that express purpose, a portion of Tuts Lane, often referred to as Lower Tuts Lane, was designated a private road in order to preserve the beach at the end of the road. The Homeowners Association has continued to maintain the road since its inception in 1953. This has been a net savings for the town, as they would otherwise have had to incur this expense. All residents, including those on Lower Tuts Lane, of which I am one, pay the taxes that support our highway department. We have several residents with serious health concerns, an elderly neighbor who has a health aide who must get there every day. We also have a member of the Jamesport Fire Police who needs egress in order to aid the fire department. Rather than have to call a plow to proceed an ambulance in an emergency situation, it simply makes sense to have the plow continue the length of the road when it is already on Tuts Lane. As a matter of public safety, we respectfully request that you continue to plow this portion of the road as you have been doing for over 10 years. I thank you for your consideration of this request.
Thank you. Other Tuts Road Association folks?
I don't think so.
No? All right. Well, thank you. Can you, you said plow, but did they maintain the roads as well?
Well, I'm hearing my other, associations consider, yes, we're having leaf removal today. On occasion, there has been a patching. So you're salting, all of the words that have been used today, we have benefited from. But this concept of breaking Tuts Lane so that the upper Tuts gets plowed and lower Tuts does not, I feel is ill-advised.
Okay.
I was just a little.
Go ahead.
A little confused.
Well, Miss?
I'm just a little confused, whether the Lower Tuts has been plowed or has not been plowed.
It has been plowed. It has been plowed every year, several times there last year when we had so many snowstorms.
And how long have you lived there?
I have now lived there for 12 years.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I know, it's one that they want to include. Next. How you doing, sir?
Fine. My name is Michael Schroeder. I live at 91 Lockett Drive. I'm vice president of the Lockett Drive Homeowners Association. The association is comprised of 31 homes. Let me first start out by saying that I think it's important to understand what the concept of the association is, much like the testimony you just heard. I'm a resident for 20 years. Yeah, that's good. Right, go ahead.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, and everything I've just said should go under that as well.
Okay.
We believe I've lived there for 20 years. I believe the association was created to maintain a very small private beach at the end of Lockett. It's about 50 or 60 feet wide. The obligations of the association are to maintain the road, and we maintain all aspects of that road. The town provides no service but snow removal. We had to repair our beach, which was devastated in Sandy. We've had significant drainage issues. These are all things our association has taken care of on their own. But it's a voluntary association. We have no enforcement provisions that compel any owner to pay, which is one of the problems with many of the associations here. If this were a condominium or a homeowners association, there would be the ability to enforce with the risk of loss of property, monthly maintenance. There would be a managing agent who would be watching out for all aspects of the community. We're now faced, if we don't wish to join your program, and I'll be frank when I say I don't know what my constituents wish to do. We're all caught a little bit by surprise here time-wise. If we don't want to give up our private road status, we're now faced with soliciting bids for snow removal. We're faced with billing our constituents for the cost of snow removal, and with the hope that 100% of the individuals who live here will do it. But we have no way to prevent anyone from enjoying the road or having their road plowed if, say, 70 or 80% of our owners can afford to pay the increment or the increase. So one of the things we're going to ask the board is, as we speak, will we be able to get plowed this winter, but for some further action? We just don't understand what the timeline is or the chronology, if you would permit a question.
Okay, so what folks may not understand is the 5 people, including the town supervisor, does not have the authority to order the highway superintendent to plow the roads. I know, and Supervisor Romaine in Brookhaven was keenly aware of it, it all falls back to, as Supervisor Stark used to say, the big seat. But we, the town board, have this much control over plowing. So there's no way for us to enforce it. The only thing we can do is incorporate it into the road inventory by state statute. And then he has an obligation, his obligation. But even if he didn't do it, I couldn't force him to do it. It's just not a power that the supervisor's office has. So this seems to be a quick rush to a quick fix. It is, because it's the only mechanism the town board has. It's a strange system when you have elected town boards and elected highway superintendents. So that's why we're here quickly.
And what would be our time frame to opt out of this resolution? Lockett Drive, I believe, is currently on the list. When would we be able to opt out if we decide we don't want to be a 189 road?
I think, Michael, for the board, and we haven't deliberated on this, but my goal for the board is to have this resolved by the last board meeting in December, which, Tara, do you know what date that is?
December 30th.
December 30th.
So if Lockett, if our association decided on December the 29th to opt out, we could notify you to leave us off of the December 30 resolution.
Absolutely.
Okay. I also just want to briefly address the private road status. While we have a private road, we never barricade that road. We have no security on the road. It is more a concept and a desire that most of us, all of us who live in this community, wish to retain. It is a very important fact. It's an intangible. It tells us that we have something somewhat unique. We have a little beach that we take care of. It's part of the thing that makes us want to live there. And I don't know that most of the people who live there want to give up that status. Again, that creates a very awful dilemma for us because of the increased cost that we would have to bear, which we think is unfair. So I would ask if the board would consider the resolution as on the record right now, but without the obligation to give up what we call by name our private road status. And again, I'm just going to share with you, we don't block people from coming on our road. We have no security. We don't ask people to leave. It's just like any other basically summer community. Every now and then people come down, they take a look, and they go. Maybe they're coming down to see how beautiful it is or what our view is, but it's something that's a very, very important and tangible for us. And if you bear with me 1 minute. Anything else? This is Diane Stuckey from our association.
Hi guys, how are you? I would just like to add that, I'm sorry.
Swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. And your name?
I've lived on Lockett Drive off and on over 20 years. I always remember it being plowed. It has never had service to maintain the roads, to fix the drainage, or anything. I'm concerned. We are a very small community. What do we have, 32? 31 homes. most of them are probably summer residents. So the snow removal probably doesn't affect them. It affects me, it affects my neighbor, and my other neighbor at the end of the road. I'm concerned. You know, I got to get to work. I got bills to pay like everybody else. It is a private community. I also am concerned that we do have a private beach. Is that going to be open to the public now?
No.
Who's going to enforce that if people do come down and park on our roads?
We're not going to,
You're not going to enforce it, but you're
Take-
going to open the roads.
we're not taking any beaches. If there's a private beach at the end of the road, that will remain a private beach. If you have no trespassing signs and you call the police department, the police will enforce the no trespassing.
So then the police would enforce it. They would
As
come
long
down.
as you have no trespassing signs. The problem for us is the state statute requires the road to be open to the public. We're taking this under a state statute. I can't change that. And we have very few mechanisms to fix this problem. This is the only mechanism that we've come up with.
Okay. Well, as Michael did say, we are a private community. Our dues are voluntary. We do not have 100% to take on snow removal when that has been done for as long as I can remember. My parents built our house in 1968. It has from that day forward, I remember it being plowed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from Lockett Drive? Okay. Sir,
Good afternoon.
you raise your right hand.
My right hand.
You swear the testimony you're gonna give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is George Good. I'm the president of the Wellswood Civic Association in Bating Hollow, and I'm representing the 24 property owners on Meadow and Summit Drive in Bating Hollow. And a couple of questions about some of the details of the resolution. I tend to agree with the gentleman earlier that said the devil is in the detail. And I kind of was supporting his idea of tabling the resolution to afford a bit more time for us to discuss this more thoroughly with our residents. But a couple of the questions. The section 92-23 with town obligations continued. There's a section there that a couple of sentences that says, if determined by the town board to be necessary, said improvements shall be performed in accordance with the provisions of law. And I'd like to understand more what that exactly means. My fear is that that means that the town or someone else could determine that improvements are necessary for the road. For example, that the town or someone needs to pave the road, and that the town could have that done, and that would be at the expense of the property owners.
No, what happens is, this is trying to give us more power than we normally would have than we have currently. If we were to pave your road or any of these undedicated roads, it doesn't go as a separate item on your tax bill. You pay the Riverhead Highway tax the same as everybody else, and it would just come out of the Riverhead Highway tax fund.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm a little bit concerned about that language because it seems to be pretty open-ended that improvements that you deem necessary would be taken as provided by law. I'm not quite sure what that entails. Our association does collect fees from all of the homeowners there. It is voluntary, but we have a good rate of compliance. We spend approximately $15,000 every 4 years with Corazini Asphalt. We've paved the road, we blew oil and bluestone the road. The town has never done that. However, in all of the time that I've lived there since 2001, the town has always plowed those roads in all conditions.
I'm sorry, what was the road, sir?
These were Summit and Meadow Drive in Bating Hollow. So these roads have always been plowed. There have been residents that have lived there since the 40s and confirm the fact that those roads have always been plowed.
How many years have you lived there, sir?
I've lived there since 2001, so that's 13 years. Those are off of Edwards Avenue. Right, just past Silver Beaches and then left there. It's a small private community, and we've always maintained the road ourselves at pretty considerable cost. But we do it, but we have always enjoyed the town plowing those roads, and we hope to see that continue in the future. I think most of our residents would agree that that's a service that we want to continue. We don't have any private keep out signs. We never have. People drive in, people walk in, people bike in. But one of the other provisions that I was also concerned about was Section 92-22, rights acquired, and there is a section there that talks about the rights, and it talks about automobile traffic, biking, traversing on foot, and conduct any other lawful activity on the highway. That's pretty broad. And to me, that could include parking. We're close to the beach.
It could.
This is a narrow road, which is only passable by one vehicle in one direction. If we have two vehicles, one entering, one leaving, one has to sort of pull off on the side and let the other person pass. If we were to have a bunch of people parking in that road, it would make it impassable for two-way traffic on that road and would be a great detriment to the people that live there. We wouldn't be able to get in and out. So I'm a little bit concerned about the kind of activities that would be allowed if these roads were conveyed under this section.
Private beach.
It has a private beach, but not associated with that section, down all the way down at the end. It has nothing to do with those two roads.
I'm not even sure you've made out the requirements from 189 because it's open to the public, maintained, plowed for 10 years, and we've never maintained any of the roads in there.
You have plowed them forever, as far as
Would
I
that
can.
across the board, or would that be when there was larger snow events, 6 inches or more?
Across the board.
Okay. If we took it into the inventory, we would be taking it into the inventory the way we have most other roads. And if there were parking problems, the town board to the traffic safety committee you'd see Councilman Dunleavy, the police department, police chief rather, and they have a committee, and they would make recommendations for no parking, which would probably be more enforceable than what you have now. So those types of things could be handled, but
Okay.
you're right on the border as to whether we even make out that 189 showing a fact. Are there other people from your community here?
No, I'm representing all of them. Most of them are. Well, we
Bill's
have
here.
one, Bill Kappenberg.
Yeah.
He lived there since 1962.
Is he going to speak?
You want to?
No.
So, we've always taken on the large maintenance projects, if you will. But the plowing of the roads has always been a service provided by the town, which we hope to continue.
How many residents are in your community?
There are 24 property owners. There are not that many houses, though, on Summit and Meadow.
Okay.
Some are empty lots.
Okay.
Okay?
If I can just make one comment, because I know we've heard a couple times about the devil in the details and opening it up to the public. And as the supervisor alluded earlier, the state constitution contains a provision in it that basically says that if you're a private entity, i.e. a private road or even a driveway, that the town is not supposed to, by law, plow and expend public funds on a private enterprise, which is why the public aspect has been incorporated into law so that we can address the constitutional issue. I think it's Section 1 or Article 1, Section 8, if you wish to look at it. That's been something that's been in place since the New York State adopted the Constitution, and the idea was that public funds would not be used. I know we've heard a lot about highway taxes. Highway taxes, as pointed out, are part of a whole general fund for highway improvements.
Sure, I mean, we drive on public highways as soon as we pull onto Edwards Avenue, so of course we would pay highway taxes.
So I mean, but again, I know I've heard the comment a couple of times about the devil in details, the fact that it's going to be open to the public. Part of the reason for that is because in absence of it being a public thoroughfare or open to the public, i.e. it's private, and under the constitutional prohibition under the state of New York, those municipal funds are not supposed to be utilized in that fashion.
I'm not so much concerned about it being open to the public. What I'm concerned about is losing control to the point where someone else besides our board decides what maintenance is required.
Okay.
And we have to foot the bill for it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Any other community presidents that wish their roads yes, sir, step up, to be included in the inventory?
My name's Richard Stevenson. I'm the president of the Waterview Terrace Civic Association.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give, Mr. Stevenson, will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you
Yes,
God?
sir.
Okay. And where do you live, and how long have you lived there?
I live on 83 Brookside. I've been there for approximately 19 years.
Okay. And as far as town services, can you testify as to the nature of the town services you received?
Yep, town services where we got garbage pickup, we got leaf pickup a couple of times a season, we got snow plowing every year, and that was pretty much about it, to be honest with you. Occasionally, the utility companies would come in and prune the trees and stuff, but it wasn't the town.
What are the roads that are in your association?
We have East Street, Center Street, Brookside Avenue, Oak Street, and Bayside. I think that's all of them, right? Yes. Okay. Like I say, the road's always been plowed since I've grown up on the North Fork my whole life. They've always been plowed in that area since I can remember as a kid. And it was always done, expertly. We never had a problem with any of that. And much of our concern is, again, opening up our community to the public, and what does that really mean? Does this grant people the right to our little private beach, which we have, and, do our best to maintain?
No, there'll be, it has nothing to do with beaches. Even if the beach is at the end of the road, we're not looking to take beaches, beach access, nothing. If you have a no trespassing sign on your beach, and somebody's trespassing, you can call the police department. We will have the person removed. You may have to swear out an affidavit or something, but we will have the person removed through lawful means.
Okay, either way, sometimes we've got signs that say no dogs allowed on the beach, but we have community members that don't abide by that either. Some people choose not to read also. My other concern is we have a private boat ramp in our community.
It's yours, all yours, and we're not having anything to do with that, and the...
I'm sure you're not coming down with your skiff, Sean, but my problem is other people say it's a private road, I can park, and again, we have a community where there's not a lot of people in winter. Most of them who are there are elderly, myself getting that way included, but we have to, have a little control over this. People, if they have the ability to come in, and no one's around, yeah, they can utilize our ramp. And we have to maintain insurance for all that stuff, and it creates another liability issue for me, and our whole community. The other problem with all this, fire drill, if you will, to get the snow plowing issue resolved, is I haven't had time to get all of our constituents in a row. Some of them are out of country, some of them are, holiday, whatever it may be. We have 55 residents, and it's tough to get everybody on the same page at the same time.
Are you on the list of roads? I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah. If we're not, get them in there.
It's going to be easier to get off the list than to get on the list.
Okay, that's my problem. I don't know which way we're going yet. All right, I can't give you a responsible answer. I'm not at liberty to speak for 55 homeowners. Some of the ones I've spoken to, I know which way they're voting, but I'm not at liberty to divulge that either.
This is Waterview Terrace you're talking
This is Waterview Terrace, yeah.
Which, although it's a private road, it's still a private community, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That sign would stay up, right?
This is what we haven't been able to decide on, if the sign's got to come down to comply with, the snow plowing.
Private community is a private community.
We're willing to
I understand that.
We're willing to work with you, but I would say that if we included them now and wanted to exclude them later, you wouldn't care, right, George? Okay. They are on the list. So if we included you now and you came back to the board and said, hey, no way, we want to take you this off, I think the town board would be inclined to do that with the recommendation of the highway superintendent, which he seems to be
You good with
inclined.
that, Gio? Okay, so my next question is, what's the time frame? How much time we got?
We're going to try to do this to resolve it before the real snow starts falling in January, by the last board meeting in December. I'll leave it open for 10 days for written comment until December 12th. For anybody else to add other facts, affidavits. I would ask if you're going to do something, do it in an affidavit form or at least notarized to send it to the town. But if as I said, it's going to be easier to get off the list than on the list.
Okay, fair enough. And now, if you don't mind, if we can, we've got a couple other board members and
Absolutely.
residents that would like to speak, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm Alice Zaff. I live on East Street in Waterview Terrace, and I've been a resident for 25 years.
We just swear you in, Mrs. F.
Swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
There really isn't anything that hasn't already been said, and it's been very interesting to attend this meeting and understand the thinking process of many of the other communities who have brought to my attention many other things that I hadn't even considered or thought of. I think this whole situation it's very, very quick for us to be making decisions. Some communities are small, and some communities like ours with 55 residents, it's, as Rich has said, it's very, very difficult. We have not had the opportunity to speak to all of our residents and get their feeling about which way we should go. What I understand here today, and I'm going to hold you to that commitment, that if we go and say we're going to turn our roads to you, and at some point we all decide that that's not the right way to go, I'm holding it that you said we could come away from this particular thing. I'm sure gentlemen would like to have us off the roads, but I want to understand that that would be an option that we would have.
You have my word. I'm here through next year, depending on re-election. So that's all I can give you is if you come back next year and you decide that you don't want to be in this, that I'd offer a resolution up to the board to take you out. I think the highway superintendent's indicated he'd be willing to take you out. Could you just spell your last name?
Z as in zebra, A, P as in Peter, F as in Frank.
Okay.
All we have to do is pass a resolution to take you off the list.
Beg your pardon?
All we would have to do is pass a resolution to take you off the list. And you'd be taken off the list.
There is a certain aspect to the fact that we have a private community. Waterview Terrace in particular has really never asked for the town of Riverhead to do anything for us other than what you had been providing for some, I don't know how many years, I'm aware of 25 years. We've never asked you to do anything more for us than plow our roads and pick up the leaf removal. We pay the taxes, as I say. I'm not going to become redundant with everything that had been said. It's been said. But we ask for nothing, and all we do is, at this point in time, ask for the continuation of the road plowing. And it seems to be a little sad that we have to compromise for getting the roads to be plowed and then changing the complexion of what we perceive to be our community to be a private community. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
I wish we could continue doing it too.
Okay, next. You can pull the microphone down. You don't have to.
Okay. My name is June Tuthill Bassimer. And
If you could raise your right hand.
Raise your right hand. Testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
yes.
Thank you.
And how do you spell the last name?
B as in boy, A-S-S-E-M-I-R. Okay, I'm the granddaughter of Fred H. Tuthill, who bought the property in South Jamesport in 1926 called Waterview Terrace. He laid out the streets, developed the lots, and called it such. When our roads were first installed, they were only hard-packed earth. Now they are bluestone and oil, and when they need to be repaired, each household is assessed equally to pay for the work. As I see it, we have taken these roads off the town highway department maintenance responsibility and received nothing in return, paying taxes like everyone else in the township. The town has also seen fit to exempt us from leaf pickup, and we must now bag our own leaves or pay to have someone else do it for us. Everyone else in the town gets their leaves picked up at the curb. Raking leaves is a fun fall project for younger folks. But as we get older, it's hard physically and financially for us. Now you're saying no snow plowing. Is this fair? What next? We are not a gated community, but we consider ourselves a private one. Roads are small and there is no parking on them. Isn't it the responsibility of our elected officials to provide all their constituents who voted for them with the same benefits as each other, living in the same district? I can find no sound reasoning within the scope of justice for our highway superintendent to refuse us the same rights and privileges as other homeowners of the Riverhead Township, and I would like to see them continue the snow plowing as they have been doing for over 20 years. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much. Go ahead. How you doing, sir?
Hi there. The name is Robert Link. I live in Waterview Terrace on Center Street.
Raise your right hand, Mr. Link.
Swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to repeat what these fellow residents just said, but there's just one point I want to make, and that is, it seems that we'd be handing over the roads to the town, and this is our land, we've been paying for it, and if you come to think about it, those roads are a lot of land, and we've been doing just fine, really, without the town, and we would really like to just keep it ourselves. We haven't had a problem in the past, and I'm sure we all would like to keep it just the way it is, and not hand over all this land to the town for free without any kind of compensation whatsoever.
What are the roads, sir? If you
Waterview Terrace?
Yep.
It was Oak, Center Street, East Street, Brookside, and Bayside.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next. How you doing, sir?
Swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Kevin Winch. I am at 11 Fred's Lane in Jamesport. I am also president of the Fairhaven Property Owners Association. Briefly regarding our association, we are a private association. We have signs on Peconic Bay Boulevard. We have been maintaining our roads in terms of paving and patching ourselves at our expense.
What roads are they?
Fred's Lane, Oak Drive, Downs Boulevard, and Beach Road. To the best of my knowledge, as I am not there during the winter, to the best of my knowledge, we have been plowed over the years, and we also receive the leaf pickup. I have three concerns or questions. The first one, given the list that was in the paper, we concluded that the errors on this list that look evident to us were just that. Standing here today, I'm not so sure, because one of our roads in our four-road community is not listed, and that's Beach Road in Jamesport, or South Jamesport, depending on who you're talking to.
That's the road that comes out into the town park, to the beach there?
It runs from Peconic Bay Boulevard down to the bay, and it intersects Downs and it intersects Fred's.
And the other roads are on this list?
The other three are. However,
Could be.
however, Downs Boulevard is listed as Downs/Pie, and Pie is, I think, misspelled. And they are parallel roads. Downs is in our association. Pie is on the other side of the hedges, and it's not. So, I just want to make sure that our association isn't somehow being fractured by this activity.
It's probably an oversight.
Okay.
So which one is the one you should be on the list if you want them on
Beach.
the list? Beach. Okay.
And like other people, I have reached out to my 38 households. I have not received back. If silence is consent, that's fine. But I have not had the opportunity to truly have a meeting. People are now away for the winter, etc. And on that point, I'd like to point out that we are a largely seasonal community, and therefore we tread pretty lightly, I think, on the town services in terms of garbage and what have you. The other question I have is we have a private community. We have 2 private community signs, and we consider ourselves a private community. We have a beach area. We spent a lot of money after Sandy to fix it. We have a park area above the beach, and we will still consider ourselves a private community to that extent. Linked households, linked properties. So I'd like to say that we do not want to have to remove our signs from Peconic Bay Boulevard. They don't say private roads; they say a private community. That's our distinction. And lastly, I have.
That may be okay. That's parsing hairs, but that may be okay.
How long have you lived in 11 Freds?
I have been there since 1998.
1998. Okay. And you've been plowed?
Yes.
Is that across the board, or just when there was the largest snow event?
I really can't honestly answer that question because I'm not there, but I'm told we are plowed by the year-round residents. Okay. Lastly, the residents, one question I have had is, what is the impact on our property taxes? We all have a line item on our taxes now for highway, and will there be...
As pointed out by the supervisor, highway is the district of covering the whole town, all of the highway system. That's what the highway tax is for, not whether you're on a private road versus a town road versus a road by dedication. So that's what I think we've heard a lot. Well, I'm on a private road, why am I paying highway tax?
Well, to echo a prior speaker, we maintain the roads. If we are going to lose that so-called property that we own, do we get some relief tax-wise?
Well, again, I know I've heard that, and the reason for why the town is taking in public is because, for example, I live on a public road. I can't put up a sign that says private community on one side of my property and put a roadblock across the road saying you can't come down my road any further. The idea is to put these roads all on equal basis so they're open to the public. So that's kind of the reasoning or rationale behind it. And again, it comes back to the same thing I alluded to earlier. Under the state constitution, if you're not a public road, which is either a road that's been dedicated to the town by a developer or a road that's been taken by use, we shouldn't have been there plowing in the first place. And I know that sounds cruel and hard to accept, but that's what the state statute says, and we're stuck with the state constitutional provision. And I know there's been a lot of questions raised, pointed to the highway superintendent. I want to take some of the blame here because when he brought this situation to my attention and caused me to look at the private communities, I said to Mr. Highway Superintendent, it's a private community. The state constitution says except where it's an emergency, which he alluded to earlier, and I think he's prepared to continue plowing when it's an emergency. So that service would be provided regardless of whether you want to be a private community or regardless of whether you want to be a 189 road or not. So that service will continue, and I think he's prepared to reinforce that or restate that. So I'm not sure I answered the question. I think I rambled a little. Okay.
All right, let's go back to you.
Well, I'm finished. Okay. Thank you. My last point, though, would how do we understand whether those streets that I referenced are or aren't part of this project? Is it by design or by accident?
I'm thinking they should be, Gio, that beach?
Beach and the downs.
Beach, I believe beach was just left off accident.
Okay.
Because you have 3 beach roads down there.
Right. That's right. Right. Okay. And then downs is it's down/pie.
Yeah, you have Beach Road, which is in Laurel, that once off.
Yeah, that's not us.
You had 3 beach roads down there, and then it got
Okay.
So it should be on.
And I just want to again the distinction that Downs Boulevard and Pie Lane are 2 parallel roads and not the same road.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll have to fix that if we take it in. Mr. Winch, though, so I'm not sure. Do you want the roads in?
I personally, I'm speaking personally as a resident. Yes, I do want the roads included. I cannot speak for the association at this point.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Any other communities that want their roads in? Presidents, communities? Yep. Go ahead, sir. Are there any other? Well, we're taking regular people. If you want your roads in the inventory.
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Do you swear your right hand? Raise your right hand. Do you swear your testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay.
My name's Greg Muth.
Folks, quiet, please.
Greg.
Muth, M-U-T-H.
What was the first name?
Greg.
Okay.
16 Kimmel Lane, Jamesport. I'm just here to see that our street gets included on the list of roads to be plowed by the town.
Okay, how long have you lived there again?
11 years,
Okay, has that road been plowed over the past 11 years?
every year. Yep.
That's a dirt road, isn't it?
Well, it fits the criteria. It's open on both ends to the public, always has been, and it's been plowed every year for the 11 years I've been there. So
Right, okay.
I don't see why it was excluded to begin with, but what issues?
Okay.
That has
Well,
nothing to do with whether it's plowed or not.
Okay.
So, somebody explain it to me, because I've asked this, we've been trying to get the town.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a private conversation.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
With the highway superintendent and maybe the town attorney's office.
Okay, but we should be included on the list, because we fit, just like everybody else that fits in those the criteria for being
You've been
plowed.
open to the public, you've been plowed for 13 years.
Well, 11 that I've been.
11, I'm sorry, and you have, but no maintenance, or have they been maintaining the road?
There's twice they came and put some RCA to fill some holes.
Okay, okay, sir.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Good morning.
Do you swear testimony about to give me the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Your name?
My name is Irene Schulmeyer. I live on Breezy Point Road in Wading River. Property's been in my family since the early 40s. I've lived there full-time for the last 15 years. And since the town has plowed, sanded, and patched the road for at least those 15 years that I've lived there, I request that Breezy Point Road be incorporated into the town highway system as a 189 road. There are 15 houses on the road. Even though it's a dead-ended road, we get a lot of foot traffic, especially from campers in Wildwood State Park, people walking their dogs, bicycling, or just sometimes driving down the road to see what it looks like.
And town paved that road, did they not?
They have fixed potholes. The road is paved, yeah.
Who paved the road? Was it paved when the numbered streets were paved?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was.
The town, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That was grant money used for
Afternoon.
Swear the testimony about to give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Helen Ricicchi, R-I-C-H-I-C-H-I. I live at 356 Oakley Avenue. It's Beating Hollow Cottage Condominium. Our board member is here, and I've been authorized by him to speak for the board and the community. We're not on the list.
You're a condominium community, correct? Off the east side of the road?
We're off of Oakley Avenue.
Right, okay.
We have been plowed up until about 2 or 3 years ago. We were plowed since I've been out there as a full-time resident since 1998. I've lived...
What community are you in? What's the name of the community?
Beating Hollow Cottage Condominium.
If you go up Oakley Avenue...
We don't have a name on our road.
Past the golf course entrance, it's the private community, I shouldn't say private, the community that's the last one on the right-hand side.
Correct.
East side road, just before you get to the...
It's right opposite. There's Woodcliff Park is on the west side. We're on the east side of
Big
Oakley.
circular road, right?
Yes, it's a horseshoe-shaped road.
Okay.
I don't know where we stand, because we've been plowed, but yet we're not on the list.
What's the name of the road?
Well, it's off of Oakley Avenue. We don't have a name. Our address is 356 Oakley Avenue. I know that I met you maybe, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years ago. You went through our community because there was a problem getting your plows through, and we had moved back some of the retaining walls so they wouldn't be on the private homes. There are private homes, so that we could.
I'll have to check on that because.
Joe, could you sit at the table? I'm sorry, because the microphones won't pick you up.
No name to
You
the
just
road.
bring your chair up to the table.
I'll have to check on that for you because I remember coming out talking to you about that.
Right, so.
That was taken off prior to that, and then making sure the proper work was done.
And we did it, and then I know I also wrote you a letter saying that the people had complied and moved their retaining walls further back. So I don't know where the community stands right now if we're not on the list, and yet we were plowed.
I will check into that.
Okay, speak to the highway superintendent,
Are
the
you
next
open,
day or
are you
so.
open to the general public? Can the general public go through your
We
road?
have no barriers. It says private community
Says private community.
on our sign,
All right.
but we get foot traffic, we get cars, we get bicyclists
For how long?
all the time.
How many years?
I've been out there since 1981,
Year round?
year-round since 1998.
And it's been plowed since then.
Yes, yes. Well, as far as I know, since I've been out there as a year-round resident, yes. And maybe even before that. But I can just say that it's been plowed since I've been out there.
And that would be all the time, every snowfall, as opposed to just when there's a major snowfall?
Honestly,
6 inches or more?
I can't say. I would really have to, that'd be a guess on my part.
Okay, has the town done any patching or other repairs?
No, we maintain the road, we pay for the road. We pay for our own leaf removal, which costs us in the thousands of dollars a year. And most of our residents are seasonal. But there's more and more who are coming out, making their all year-round homes. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. How you doing, sir?
Yes, first of all, I want to thank the supervisor and the councilmen and women and Mr. Woodson. My name is C.T. Kanelopoulos, K-A-N-E-L-O-P-O-U-L-O-S. I lived in Riverhead since 1988. I moved 12 years ago.
Raise your right hand.
Stop for a second. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Where do you live?
I live on 247 Overlook Drive in Aquabog.
Okay.
And since I've been living there, early on, we used to get plowing occasionally from the town. Once in a while, I'd see the little white truck with the green sign come down. And we do have people walking all the time. Although it says private road, which we will take down if need be, people walk down all the time. They ride their bikes all the time. It's always open to the public. We see people all the time.
But we have not been plowing it on a continuous basis for the past 10
It's been
years.
on and off since I've been there. It's been plowed in the beginning when I first moved in, occasionally, on and off from time to time.
Right.
And sometimes what would happen is some of the residents that had a plow, they would plow it, so I guess the town wouldn't come in. They'd see it was plowed.
Right.
And that was it. And I would hope that you would put us on the list.
Who maintains your road?
We basically maintain it, we
Pave it, you pave it?
it's been paved, on and off, with some paving, etc. So it's just a matter of just getting on the list, if you would please put us on.
I don't know that you meet the criteria. It had to have been continuously plowed and maintained for a period of 10 years.
Straight 10 years prior to when I was there. I don't know, Pat May might know. She's been living there since 44 years. And I know it's been maintained, graded a little here and there on and off, and George was nice enough to come down and sweep it one time when we needed some sweeping. So the town did maintain it a little bit. We would really appreciate to get on the list. We have 20 homes. It's a dead-end road, and it gets hazardous if the snow gets deep and you can't get down there. It'd be a problem. There's no way out. It's just one way in and one way out. It's a half a mile long. That's
Okay,
it.
well.
Okay?
Is that your neighbor behind you?
That's one of my neighbors, yes.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Miss, if you could step up.
Okay, I'm sorry. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay.
My name is Pat May, and I lived on Overlook Drive for 44 years. Owned the properties for 61 years. My aunt owned the whole point at one time. And we need you to come and plow us when we have a lot of snow, because I can't shovel it myself.
Have we been plowing the roads?
On and off, yes, on and off. All those many years.
Okay.
Now, the prior gentleman testified that from time to time you had hired a contractor to plow. Is that correct?
I never hired anybody.
No, well, that's what I heard.
They
Did
came
I
and
mishear it?
out of the good of their heart,
Okay.
apparently.
All right. I thought I heard that. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else from Overlook Drive?
Ed Hocker, 242 Overlook Drive.
Swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. The two criteria is the being open to the public.
Had property out there since '85,
Well, not open to the public, used by the public at
used by the
large.
public. Trucks, cars, people sightseeing, delivery, landscapers.
Well, delivery's coming to the property owner.
You name it. And
Okay.
there's people going up and down the road. When there was property for sale, people come up and down and look. As a matter of fact, in '09, you insisted, the cops, KOPP, had put up gates to block the road. The town, you were here, I think, Sean, at the time, had those gates removed to keep the road open. The road has been open, I think, for, like Pat says, at least 44 years.
Yeah, I think those gates, that was part of a subdivision plan, and those gates were not shown on the subdivision plan. That's why it was removed. I'm not sure if it was a
Well, it had to
question
do,
of
I
whether
think-
it was a private road or public road, but my recollection was that it was part of a subdivision issue.
Had to do with the right-of-way, am I right?
Well, right away is not a town road.
I know.
But
Well,
we
this
have-
whole
we have
road
the
is not
letter.
a town road. It's a right-of-way. It's not a town road. That's why we want it to be included for maintenance.
So that's
All right.
The other, go ahead.
How many years has the town plowed and maintained that road for the past 10 years?
I will say
On a
this.
continuous basis.
They plowed intermittently. It's not a regular thing. We've had Geo there when he was still an operator. He graded the road on numerous occasions. We've had bucket loaders down there. We've had intermittent. It says here in section 9220, paragraph B, the legislature has determined that any highway that has been utilized by the public for a period of 10 years or more, and over which the local authority has exercised some degree of control in form of maintenance. Isn't that some degree of control?
Maybe. That's why I asked the question.
So, what else have I got here? Yeah, and again, I see roads on that list, they're 10 feet wide. They're dirt. We got a nice road. Why they're included in this new 49 streets and we're left out? It makes no sense.
Which road are you talking about?
There's a bunch of them along Hubbard Avenue. Zion, Hobson, Bell. You could go on. And here we are with 20 people on our road, or 18, whatever it is, and we're left out. I mean, they put water in, they put public water in for us back in the day. If they dig it up, they patch it. I don't know if the water company does it or the highway department, but it gets done. We don't do it on our own. That's it. Oh, and one more thing, the snow plowing. When I first moved there, they were doing it occasionally. I had a plow, and I was always sort of anxious, so, I'd plow it. I didn't ask for no money. And we have a landscaper on the road now that'll do that occasionally.
There you go.
So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Anybody else on Overlook? No? Okay, sir, go ahead.
Swear to testimony about to give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Dennis Warcola. I live on Shady Lane, which George himself...
Spell the last name?
Warcola, W-A-R-C-H-O-L-A. I bought my house in 1974. I had an outhouse and a hand pump, and I was on a dirt road.
Shady Lane, Wading River?
Yes, sir. Shady Lane and Wading River. We have a unique, crazy road. We have two roads side by side, both Shady Lane, and the story is that the people on side south and the people on side north didn't want the utility poles on their side, so they put them right down the middle. And George has been down my road many a time, and his whole crew. I don't know when we got the city water, but the town did pave the road with city water after the city water was put in, which was a godsend. I was a New York City fireman for 28 years, and I never missed a day's work because I couldn't get out of my road. They've always taken good care of us all down there. They've always plowed the road, patched the holes, and sanded. I used to laugh. I said, wow, look at this, we're sanding our road. But there is a little downgrade at the end of the road. And the service has been extraordinary. And I know I speak for everybody on that block, both sides. It's like the Civil War, the North and the South. that we appreciate very much the services we've been rendered, and like I said, I've been there since 1974. By the way, we have indoor plumbing.
I was going to say, down the water.
Wait a minute, I've knocked on some of those doors. I think there's still some outhouses back there.
We like to call it a tool shed. Thank you very, very much, and thanks for listening to us.
Thank you. Next.
Swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do. My name is Ray Senzak. I own a home on 26.
Spell that.
My last name?
Yes.
CZENSZAK.
Okay, I'm sorry. What street are we talking about?
I live on Breezy Point Road,
Okay.
26. That's my address. I've been there for approximately 20 years. The town has been paving, maintaining the road over there. They've also been plowing the road. And I kind of found it a little disheartening to find out that possibly we wouldn't be paved. I see we're on the list now, which gives me a little hope that we will have that done. The other thing that disheartened me was I said in the past I've had a health issue, and I said one of my neighbors confronted me and says, well, if this doesn't happen, we're going to have a problem with you. I said, they've been doing it for 20 years. It'll be a burden for me to be paying into plowing and paving this road at this point. I said it's come to 20 years past, and I just can't do it. So, and I'm hoping that the town will bring us into that fold. One of my neighbors has also lost the whole sale of her home, and I've helped all the neighbors put up mailboxes, do things in that neighborhood, and since the time I was there, and I'm just hoping that things continue the way they were.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. How you doing, sir?
Swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank
My
you.
name is John Hauser, Hauser. I live at 22 Benjamin Street in Wading River. I've been a resident there since the street was opened in 1973. It's 42 years. There are 9 homes on the street, and I think I can confidently speak for 7 of those homeowners that we want plowing to continue. The street has been plowed, it has been patched, there's been leaf pickup. There is public access to the street. We have the Wading River Elementary School across the street. People come down the street and park when there's school events because they can't accommodate all of the cars at the school. And
Your bank access up that road?
yes, there's Suffolk County National Bank on the
I don't
corner.
understand how this was never in the town inventory,
Yeah, I don't
but
understand that.
it's probably was.
So there's no signage to prevent anybody from coming down the street. You know, I've been here for 42 years, and I gotta say, the snow removal in this town has been exceptional. Leaf pickup has been exceptional. Gio, I don't know why, with people who elect you, you choose to deny people of services. I don't understand it, but
I think
you
he
have to figure
explained it, earlier, how this all came about.
Well,
In case somebody doesn't
I go
know.
back to the days of Alex E. Horton, okay? It's a long time ago. Plowed, paved, did things. Why all of a sudden it's an issue now? Maybe an issue of competence, I don't know, if you don't know what the law is. But, you know, I understand you've got a reduction in manpower, maybe the board ought to look at how many
Has
people
nothing
you
to do
need
with
in your
manpower.
department, okay? Because if they could deploy that many plows years ago and they can't now, maybe there's a management issue, I don't know. But that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, sir. How you doing, sir? If you could raise your right hand.
Swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Stan Droz. I live at 32 Caroline Court in Accaboon.
Spell the last name?
D-R-O-Z-D.
Okay.
I lived here my whole life. I moved into this development. It's a small development of about 6 homes, and I've been there for a little over 20 years. I just want to get it on the record. Our road is on the list, Caroline Court, but I just want to get it on the record that the road has been maintained fully since the day I moved into the house. It's been snow plowed, paved, sanded, swept. And I just want to have it clarified that it definitely has been done that for at least 10 years.
Over 10 years.
Yes.
Did you say you were there 22 years?
Look, around 22 years. I don't know exactly. I forgot what the exact year we moved in.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Next.
Swear the testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, my name's Stephen Swaitosha. I live at
Better
5
spell that, Steve.
SWIATOCHA. Okay, I live at 5 Scallop Lane in South Jamesport. We're a small community of 9 homes. Until the last 2 years, I've been the only full-time resident living on that street. The town in the past has come down. I believe we're considered an emergency issue where after all of the roads are done, they will then come back as a courtesy and do our road. What I want to know is if we remove the sign that says private road, will my road be plowed at the same time that the town is doing a town-owned road at this time?
I think Gio.
No. These roads on here were always plowed last. All these private roads, they were always plowed after
Yes,
we were done with all the other roads.
yes.
Like I said earlier, in the event of an emergency, we break off and go to the emergency. Somebody said earlier, what happens in the event of emergency, fire, ambulance call? You call the police contact me, I have guys in the area, we get you out. So I'm just getting kind of tired of people saying, you're gonna take too long to get there, whatever. That's how it works. And since I've been in office, since I've never seen the highway department not get to somebody and get them out.
No, I'm not saying that
Didn't
you
say
haven't.
you did, but I'm just
Right.
saying over.
I understand what you're saying, but my concern is if we as a small community give up that private road status, are we going to continue to be on that emergency list? Is that what you're telling me?
If you get
You're on this
adopted,
list already.
if you get adopted in this, you'll be you're really our tertiary roads. He does our primary roads, our secondary
Primary,
roads,
secondary, main roads, and then the.
tertiary roads. Lewin Hills, where I live, we don't get plowed out
Me either.
quick.
3
So
days
we're,
sometimes.
you'd be in you go to your primary, your secondary, and then all the small roads are afterwards. I don't think he's plowing Shady or Scallop any differently than he's plowing Howard
Correct.
Street.
Oh, no, I know that they've done it in the past, but there have been 2 years ago or whatever. I know we had tremendous amounts of snow, but it was 2 days before a plow came down that road. And I've just had open heart surgery. We have a young lady behind me who just moved in, so we're the only residents on that road. So I don't see any benefit to me giving or us giving up that private road status if it's going to stay status quo.
If you are not on this list, you won't get plowed at all.
Did you have an emergency on that road?
Well, we haven't had an emergency at this time, but I mean, it's kind of like saying, here I am on the floor having a heart attack, call the police, and the police will call the highway department, and the highway department will send a truck.
That's why
I'm dead.
That's why we want you on the list, and just so everybody understands, Wading River took 2 days to get plowed out when we had 24 inches of snow. We got a lot more snow than Jamesport got. The highway superintendent was in within 2 days, but we get hit with 2 feet of snow. It's going to take
We were
time.
one of the first towns to have all our roads open by Sunday.
Oh, no, as I said, I'm not complaining. You've done a wonderful job, but with what we're proposing here, as I say, at this point in time, I don't see any, as I said before, reason to give up that status if I'm going to be eventually plowed on an emergency basis.
You won't be.
Well, you will be on an emergency basis.
On an emergency basis.
You'll be plowed on a regular.
Right.
Under this, you'll be plowed on a regular basis.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But even town roads, if the ambulance or fire department or the police department can't get through, they call the highway department, and even on town roads, the highway department plows in front of them so they can get through. Because sometimes it takes us 2 days to plow out regular town roads, so in that 2 days, an emergency can occur. So that's why they're on call. for emergency plowing.
Geo keeps heavy equipment at all the firehouses throughout the town, and that equipment is on reserve basically for the emergency. So if, I understand your first call is not to the highway department. If you had it, please call 911.
Mhm.
But we'll take care of the rest to make sure
Normally,
the
the
police
highway
department.
department will be there before the police department or the ambulance.
Okay. All right, but I was just saying, if right now, with our road being on that list, we will receive plowing as it's been done in the past.
Right,
Okay.
that's what we're trying to do, yes.
Okay.
Keep it status quo. On a regular basis.
Now,
Okay?
does this mean that we have, that all of these people are involved in this have to remove that private road or private community sign?
Bob?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in cases, it's
Private
been,
road sign.
But
Private
don't
community,
forget, if
I
you live
guess.
on a road that only has 9 houses, that dead ends, are you gonna get people to drive down there?
oh yeah, we do now.
Occasionally, you're gonna get a curiosity seeker.
Well, we do
But
now.
it's not gonna be a regular, for me to get to the deli or for me to go to the main road to come down here. But you will get occasional people that will go down there just to be curious.
Which we accept. Now, it's been brought up and been mentioned, it's been mentioned that
Now,
in conjunction with, say, the private beaches or so on that are on that area, is it possible that if we put up the Scallop Lane sign, remove the private road sign, and just underneath it, really put a sign that says no beach access?
That's
Which
fine
would,
with us.
that's fine, that's good.
that would be acceptable.
Fine with us. The beach,
Yes.
we have nothing to do with
We
your
have
beach.
nothing-
Right, which I agree with you, in other words, but it would prevent some people, as I say, that drive around South Jamesport that may be looking to go to the beach, and they saw that sign, it would say, well, we gotta go someplace else to get to a public
Right.
beach.
Private community,
What's that?
a private community.
Well, you
All
can
right.
put underneath it,
All right.
private
Thank you.
beach, no trespassing.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you.
I agree.
Keep saying the wrong thing. I would double check on that beach stuff
All right.
before you start saying.
Swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
There's nothing to do with the
My name's Kate Williamson. I live at 19 Scallop Lane. That's property my parents bought in 1955, so we've always had it. That was Zon and Catherine. And I started living there full-time. This will be my second winter. So,
Second week?
second winter.
Oh, winter.
So, the first one was last year. It was a great winter to pick.
That was a rough one.
Yeah, but Steve asked the questions that I was going to ask. I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to get in and out. But if we don't do anything, we stay on the list, and it's treated the way it always was. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
What's your name, miss?
Jeanette Panacchia. It's a mouthful. Pennacchia. And I reside at 9 Scallop Lane, South Jamesport. And hopefully, barring any complication, I will be the third year-round resident on Scallop Lane. We were ready for it about 2 years ago, and then Sandy hit, so I got damaged, and for 2 years we've been trying to repair the house. So hopefully by next summer it'll be finished, 2 years, and then I will be a year-round resident. We've had the house since 2003.
Welcome to Riverhead.
Thank you. I'm trying so hard.
Where are you from?
Up west, so I'm dying to be here year-round. So far, I've been spending summers.
We're dying to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. But no more Sandys, please, no more.
Agreed.
But we've been spending as much time as we possibly can. So far, we spend until at least November here. But we have been spending since 2003 here until November's and coming here during the winters. So I've been seeing snow here and hearing all about the snow coming and seeing it afterwards. So I do know that we have to wait for the snow plows and stuff like that. So I do want to get the snow plow coming all the time so that when I am a permanent resident, it will be plowed and I can get out, because being snowbound at my age is something I do not want to face. I was in the town of Brookhaven, and with that last snow last winter, we were in the house for about 4 days before we got plowed. So 2 days, no, I don't want to see it. So I'm also, Steve handled it very well, and I like the idea of no beach access. Down on that road, we also have a problem with the fire trucks. They sold the fire truck that reaches down our street. It was a small one. They sold it, and now if we get a fire down there, we're shot. They can't get a truck down there. So
They'll get it down there.
so I don't know.
James Sport will get it down there.
Okay, I hope so. So please, I understand now that we will get plowed if we get this
If you
approved.
stay on the list, you'll get plowed.
Okay, so please keep us on the list and get us plowed. Okay, Gio, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Next.
Do you swear testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, and your name and address?
My name is Joe Calandra. I reside at Laurel Hollow Court. There is no number. It's a private road. I'm one of 5 residents
Laurel Hollow Court, where?
in Wading River.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I'm one of 5 residents on the road. I live at the very end of an 800-foot road. And from time to time, over the past 20 years that I've been there, the town has patched, salted, sanded, and done some drainage repair throughout the years. Most of the time, we've had our own trucks. I've maintained my own for a number of years. It's just not economical to have just one truck plowing that road and paying for insurance and the upkeep of the machinery. So I got rid of it. One of my neighbors who had moved out was plowing it for years, but from time to time the town would come in and plow it over the years. My real concern is back to the emergency situation. Being at the end of the road, with the winters the way they've been really building up with the snowfall, I'm concerned. I have 2 kids with disabilities, and my concern is that I need an emergency vehicle, that I have to make a call, and the police department's going to know my road, and they're going to know to get me access from the town highway department.
That's a different question, and I don't know that our police chief is still here. Oh, he's in the, you could speak to that gentleman right there.
I'd like to know how they all tie in, though. You know,
That's
when you're in an emergency situation, you're going to be just wanting to make
You see that gentleman in the back corner, and he'll give you a lesson on how that works.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, so what I'm really concerned about is that we do the right thing for the people. We've heard a lot of people talking in here. I see a lot of gray-haired people in here. We're all getting older, and time is going to be of essence in an emergency. So the lead time from when we make the call to getting an emergency vehicle to the home is going to be critical. So we can't be foolish and not keep these homes on the list and make sure we maintain the roads. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next.
Do you swear testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
My name is Robert, my wife Gloria Crozier. We live at 19.
It's Robert and Gloria?
Yes, Crozier, C-R-O-Z-I-E-R. We live at
Ms.
19.
Crozier, if you could just be sworn in.
Ms. Crozier, do you also swear that testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Okay, again, we live at 19 Woodchuck Path, Wading River. From what I understand, this was an association, was several houses built. There's 9 on my block, and I believe 7 on Red Fox, which is next door. It was built by 2 attorneys that I believe worked for the town of Riverhead in 1973. The association was never ever formed, and there was never any dues or anything collected. The block is only about 300 or 400 feet long on both streets, and it has been maintained by the town of Riverhead since I've been there. We've been there since 2006. As far as
8 years.
8 years, correct.
And when you say maintained,
It has been maintained.
How? What have they done?
They have used a broom, which was once a month. They had leaf pickup. They had snow plowing, sanding, salting, and also cleaned the storm drain. There is a problem at the end of Woodchuck Path and Red Fox. It's the only drain, and they had problems with that. They always maintain it. Mr. Woods has always did a good job. He should not be chastised for this because it's not his problem, this whole situation. I'm sure it's the economy of the town of Riverhead. So, but I would like to remain on the list, And as far as my block is concerned, we own part of the street. If you want it, I'll give it to you. And everybody on my block will give it to you. And if you could just fix some of the potholes, and that's it. But I'd like you to remain on the list.
The problem with your road is, in Red Fox, it's so spider cracked. Basically, what you have to do with that road is grind it up into a base and repave it, or repave over it if you have minimum car traffic. That's why when we used to come down and patch it, it wouldn't stay there. The road is completely shot, and try to help you out as best we can when we could, so.
Okay, because you put a new apron in the front, and right behind the apron, it's,
Yeah, well, we wanted to get that because the water was sitting there. We were trying to get it off to flow down the road.
okay. But that's all. We just want to be maintained on the list.
You are?
Thank you.
You are.
If I could just reiterate, there are only 7 homes on our block, and I feel confident in being a spokeswoman for all the homeowners. We would like to continue to have our services. As my husband said, there never was an association. There's no dues that were ever contributed or collected. There is no sign that says private road. It was private in name only. Our closest intersection is Wading River Manor Road. And if you ask me, Woodchuck Path is like U-turn central. We get so much traffic in there, people just making U-turns, so.
Woodchuck Path, is that?
It's over by the Boy Scout.
That's here, put along, is there one final one?
Yes, exactly, yeah. It was private in name only. It's really a very public road, so if we could continue to have our services, which have been wonderful, we'd
You
appreciate
folks
it.
own to the center line of the road at your deed?
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
One question, would it be beneficial if all the homeowners in Woodchuck submitted a letter, and is that necessary?
I think we're okay with the highway.
You're on the list.
We're on the list, so you're in good shape.
Is there a policy to donate the streets to the town, or dedicate?
The way it would be done is, if you wanted your road dedicated to the town, we would come down, inspect the road, make sure the asphalt was correct, make sure drainage is proper, and then we would take over the road. Your road in particular, just to, I don't want to tell you, but spider cracked as your road is, we have to be very delicate when and if we plow the road, because it's not long for paving, so that's going to be another issue that we got to look into. I mean, paving doesn't come under the 189, only patching does, so maybe by then we can rectify something, we can, I don't know.
A big patch.
Yeah.
All right, look at,
Okay,
thank you very
We'll
much.
see you at the first snow then. Thank you.
Okay, yes.
Swear testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And your name?
Mary Ticatano.
Hello, Ms. DiCatano.
Hi, you know me now,
I
don't
do
you?
know who you are. If you could just state your road and
37 Breezy Point Road.
how long have you lived there?
We actually moved in 91, although we owned the property since 74.
And has the town plowed the road and maintained it since you've been there?
Yes.
Okay, you are on the list, so I don't think there's...
I'm sort of unique because I lost the sale of my house because of this whole thing. I hate being unique. Mr. Woodson talked to me from the beginning about, his problems. I'm a senior citizen on a fixed income. I know about budgets. And it's been rough. I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody else because it really hurt. I found out at the 12th hour, and thought I was ready to go to contract in a couple days, and it was all packed, ready to go, and this came out. Not only that, in all the years I've been there, I've needed an ambulance 4 or 5 times because I'm bad asthmatic, and since I'm by myself, I can't take a chance that pass out in the house. Nobody would know about it except my daughter, and that would be too late. So it's like lots of luck if that ambulance is going to reach you in time. Never mind snow. They're good around by us, but when you haven't got your breath, every second counts. Thank you, and thank you for treating me so good when I came down here. I want to thank the town attorney also. I can't still pronounce your last name, but thank you so much. It made me feel good that somebody would hear me out. Mr. Woodson, you got a lot of shaking up to do. It's hard. I understand the whole point about budgets, but I want to put my house eventually up for sale again because one week I sold the house at a good price and it really hurts. I just want to get out of there because after 20 years on my own without my husband, it's hard. It really is hard. I just want to go to Leisure Village and sit back and not have to worry about the guys cutting my grass or any other problem. So I hope we get this resolved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DiCatano. Yes. Next.
You swear testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Jason Collins, 16 Hickory Court, Wading River. I was probably the one that had one of the phone calls that you referred to earlier. I'm looking to get on the list. So I just wanted to, get some concrete details on how to get onto the list.
Where is Hickory Court?
Hickory Court is...
How long have you lived on Hickory?
12 years.
Okay. And during the 12 years, I'm sorry, where's Hickory?
North Side and Hickory Court, it's right by Little Flower.
Okay.
That road was slated to be taken over 5 years ago, and we went in to do some work, and we were told not to do it, so that's why it is what it is.
How many residents on Hickory?
7.
Why would they say?
I think we had to raise drains or some work we had to do in there. We were told no, they didn't want it done, so
Who
therefore.
built the neighborhood?
Shembry?
It's Shembry Homes up there.
Shembry Homes?
Does Shembry still have the deed to the neighborhood?
I don't know. We went up there to do the work. We were told that they didn't want it done, and we left.
Who didn't want it done?
This was 5 years ago. A couple of the neighbors, I guess.
Oh, no, probably just one, and her house is for sale, so.
Laura, can you just check to see if there was any
I don't know whether it was drainage or something. We went in there to
aside from that, I'm really just looking for snow plowing and sanding.
All right, let's hold that thought for a second. I'm going to have, Laura, do you remember this? Laura does most of the pre-road dedications. Do you remember anything about Hickory?
My recollection, we never took Hickory Court. I do have a file, I believe, on it. I can check and see if I have any notes of why we didn't take it. Sometimes in the very beginning, when the planning board approves a subdivision, they specifically put in one of the conditions that it's to remain private and not become a town road. So I have to make sure that that's not what the case is here.
All right, we're going to look to see why we didn't take it, because it seems to me that would have been one that we should have taken. It's probably because somebody didn't do the work they was supposed to do in the road, and
we got told we were wanted in there, so we left.
we weren't wanted in there.
But that, a lot of these conversations, they want to keep their private road. That, that's not my issue. I really just would love the town to come down and plow and sand. One of my issues I have is I have school buses coming down, so that's always an issue with them slipping and sliding.
Are you on the bottom of North Side, that cul-de-sac on the bottom of the hill?
It goes. It's at the top of the hill.
Is it the top of the hill?
Yeah. So leaf pickup isn't an issue. That's not my concern. It's just really the plowing and sanding.
Yeah, they're going down North Side. All right, you may have a separate issue from. We'll look at why that road wasn't dedicated. If you could touch base with the town attorney's office. Laura Calamita is going to look into it. She's a paralegal in the town attorney's office. Laura, if you could get Gio and I that information from that file. This is a.
And you were 16 Hickory Court?
16 Hickory, yeah.
Okay, and you've been there, you said 12 years?
12 years.
And during that time, the town has plowed?
Never.
Never, okay.
Well, when you say you don't want us there.
Okay.
No, not we. Maybe one person.
Okay. Let's see let's just see what the problem was, why it wasn't dedicated, because that's a relatively new subdivision. Could be that we weren't supposed to take it, but let's find out.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. How you doing, sir?
Hi, my name is Bob Clements.
Swear testimony about to give Mr. Clements to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you
Yes,
God.
I do. Representing Tony Alfano, which we wrote a letter to, gentlemen, and we have a couple of people here, and we'd like to reconsider our application, whether to go private or go public.
Which roads are we talking about?
Cedar Court,
In which hamlet?
that was, I live 24 Cedar Court. Tony Alfano, you read his name in the beginning.
Yep.
All right. Is that Laurel or?
Laurel, yes.
How long,
he-
and
we-
what's your address?
24 Cedar Court,
How long do you live there?
34 years.
So you want to be taken out of the private road?
No, we wrote a letter to keep us private.
Okay,
You with me?
I'm with you.
Okay, we want to
Councilman
rescind that
McHickley.
letter right now.
Who's
Well,
we?
because this meeting was very informative, and some of us who live on that corner want to reconsider our application, that's all. Just leave it the way it was before Tony wrote that letter.
Can-
I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
got
can
a-
you have
actually
Tony
got a
call
phone
us?
call on that too.
Erase
To
the
take it
removed letter.
off,
Okay.
so.
Close it off.
I mean, I can't,
Well-
that's not difficult, is it, guys?
Well, how many are in favor of being on, how many in favor
Well,
of
we
being
don't
off?
know. We have 5 people
Okay.
here right now who are in favor to reconsider.
Okay,
We'd like to talk about it.
let's do this. Cedar Court, if you want us to be on the list, raise your hands.
Keep it on.
If you want to take us to take you off the list, raise your hands. Okay.
All right.
You don't know what to say.
Well, we haven't heard. You just explained to us, our beach, we could put a sign saying private
We're not
beach.
touching beaches.
We could put up a sign saying a private community.
You can put up a sign saying private beach, that private road is a problem, private community probably is a problem, private beach is not gonna be.
It's not. We have a 10-foot road. I mean, can people come down and park on our lawn to walk around, to walk down the beach? Are they allowed to park on our lawns?
You would have to talk to traffic safety and we could make it no parking, that's actually enforceable.
So
You
that's,
can't park on your lawn.
well, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
That's private, your lawn is private property.
It's only a 10-foot road. We can't get 2 cars going down at one time. So that's fine.
How wide is the pavement in your?
10 foot.
Okay, so that would be this legislation is proposing to take an easement over the 10-foot width.
That's
right.
That's what the town would propose to acquire under the 189 legislation. One of the speakers pointed out that if the town's board saw fit to do other improvements, the town board could. So I can't make a commitment for what would happen in the future.
We could
I
make
can't
no
bind
parking
the future board. And I don't believe
I
that's.
still want to know if the 2 prongs still apply. I mean, have
That's
them
the
do
other
it.
issue. So they can't park on your lawn because that would still be your property.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if the private community versus private roads issue makes me comfortable because the whole concept of this is that it's supposed to be open to the public.
Yeah,
And
private
part-
community could be a problem.
And part of the legislation, again, to put everybody on equal footing, whether you're a town dedicated road or whether it's been a road that's been laid out historically back in the 1700s, is that it's open to the public. And in order for us to be able to plow or enter or do basic maintenance, it's the concept to get around that state constitutional issue is to make it public. So, again, the ability to put up a private community sign troubles me because it takes away the concept of it being public. And we're playing around here. We're starting to parse words, and it's getting it's starting to get a little bit slippery.
Well, that's why we're asking the questions.
yeah.
We'd like to know the answers. I mean, you did answer, the beach is private. That, we understood, right? Everybody that has a
It's
beach
private,
knows it's private.
And if the board were to enact no parking, I guess people cannot park down the end of the road. But again, it's supposed to be open to the public. So
But you may get the curiosity seeker to drive down there, just to look. But you're not a public roadway where you're going from one road to another road. And where I would've had to go around you to get to that, and now I'm gonna cut through your road. You're not there. So you'll get the occasional, people you get there now.
I just want to know what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. That's all I'm asking. So when we go have our meeting again, we can explain it to all the residents and they can make this decision. That's all I'm asking. Yes, no, or maybe.
So you want us to keep you on the list?
Yes, sir.
It's easier to get on the list, to get off the list than on the list.
It
So
seems that way right now,
I think
yes.
we keep you on the list.
So we would like to get our letter back like we didn't send you a letter.
That we can't, we would like you to send a letter rescinding that letter.
That's already part of
And
the
just let me end it. I'm hoping to be the last guy, but I'm not. Mr. Woodson has been, he knows Cedar Court. We've spoken to him a lot, and he's always responded on time and helped us out tremendously, being on the end of Riverhead, almost the last lane. We've had a lot of problems with farms. He's come out every time and helped us out. He's even called us on Saturday, which I don't know if too many public service work on Saturday, but he has called and responded us on Saturday. So my praise goes to Mr. Woodson.
Well,
Thank you.
Stay on the list. He'll do the same thing he's been doing.
Well, I can't lose. I got a private beach and I got a restricted road, and you're going to pave it.
No, we're not paving it. We're not
Well,
paving
you
the
could
road.
pave it. You could, right? You could pave it.
No way.
No. All right, we're not paving, it's only patching.
Well, I don't know. It says here you're going to maintain the road, right? You're going to maintain the road.
They're not, the only maintenance they'll do are cold patching and things. They're not gonna come in and pave roads.
Well, he knows the road needs cold patching.
That's between you and Gio.
That's it.
Okay, so, are we almost at the end of the people who want to stay in? Okay.
Swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do. My name is Solomon Radzishsky. I'll spell it for you. Z is in zebra, H is in Harry. O, D is in dog, Z is in zebra. I, S is in Sam, H is in Harry, S is in Sam, K, Y is in yellow.
Okay.
You live
I am at 356 Oakley Avenue. Helen Rikiki represented us already. It's a Baden Hollow cottage condominium. We have 37 cottages there. I lived there from 1994 on weekends, and since I retired in 2006, I maintain year-round residence there, except when I go to Florida. One of the first speakers who spoke mentioned the letters they received. I have no knowledge of anyone in our community receiving a letter from Highway Department or the town considering this matter, regarding this matter. So I would like to be on the record that we didn't receive the letter, and we would like to be on the list. We have one no-name road, which is horseshoe-shaped, entering from Oakley Avenue and exiting north of that, exiting on Oakley Avenue. Over the years, the road was sanded and salted and plowed.
By the town?
By the town.
Okay.
By the town. And I have a rhetorical question, and it is, we receive town sanitation services. Don't highway department people have to maintain the road for the sanitation truck access? I think they should.
The sanitation division is not part of the highway division, sir, no.
Yeah, it's not, but it's a part of the same town.
Part of the same town, but it's not part of the highway services.
I understand.
You are a condominium, correct?
Yes, we are.
Then that would explain why you didn't receive a letter. Condominiums that were private roads, I don't believe received the letters. So if you were part of a condominium complex where the roads were to be kept private, those individuals did not receive letters from either the highway superintendent or from the town supervisor.
So
that's why you did not receive a letter.
So how could we get on the list?
Have we been plowing that road continuously and maintaining it for 10 years or more?
Since 1994, I was there. It was plowed and salted.
Who paved
Continuously, every year.
Every year, except
every snowfall.
Yes.
Okay.
We didn't get the first time service, of course, but we had service.
Except what? Every year except?
Except last year, I believe.
Why didn't they plow it last year?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I was in Florida.
Okay. Gio, I think this is what you gotta work out.
I do care now, too. Even I go to Florida soon, I would like us to be included and the road maintained.
All right, I'm sorry, Gio, what?
I will check on it.
He's
If
gonna
the road
take a
doesn't
look.
even have a name, that's probably what it was.
That's why, yeah.
And are you a condominium?
Yes, we
A
are.
filed condominium?
Yes, we are. It's a unique condominium consisting of separate houses. We each of us own our own house inside and out. And some.
This was built when?
Bob knows about our place. Yes.
You know about it.
It was built. Helen maybe will help.
30s or the 40s?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was converted to condominium in 1977, and I believe Mr. Bruderer said at the time that he maintained it as a resort community for 25 years or so.
Yes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have to talk to Gio. Condos are separate because I don't think there's any condos we've ever really plowed in, although the town planning department is trying to make us take some of these in. Yeah, but if it's a condo map, it's a condo map. We've got to, you're going to have to, you and your president speak to the highway superintendent to really review this. Although I will say the planning board has tried to get us to take condo.
That's why
roads,
your
which
road
we
is not
stopped.
named. Your road is not named.
No, it's not named.
It's a no name.
If we get the services, we will name it after Sean.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you.
Walter's Way.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next. How you doing, sir?
I'm tired, I'm sure you are too, but.
We're just getting beginning. We got the people that want
Just
the
getting your
roads out.
steam up. I don't know if there's any more of that side, but I'm
Raise
just
your hand,
ready
sir.
to go with the other
Testimony
side.
you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
What was your name again, sir?
Ray Ryder, Rieder, a lot easier to spell than the last gentleman.
What road are we talking about, sir?
I'm on Locust Street, and I'm talking on behalf of the Akabak Homeowners Association, which is Locust and Willow and Bay Avenue, right near the old motel there.
Right, okay.
And I've been there for, we've owned that property 23 years.
You don't want to want it out.
Pardon me?
You want it out.
Yes.
Yes. They want it out.
Okay, you still want it out?
Okay, yeah, I sat here with everything else. The majority of what we've polled, a lot of these people close up at Labor Day and we don't see them until Memorial Day, haven't responded yet. It appears that we're going to stick with that decision to have them out, but I want to make sure that there's this option, there's the option to opt right in or the option out right in. If they come back and they say to us by the end of the month, no, and the majority rules in our association, I'm going to go the other way. But at this point, we're out.
Okay.
Okay,
Are
and
these roads on the list? Or we're
Yes.
taking them
I
out?
would advise if you're on the list, you stay on the list until everybody gets back. Once you're out, I'm considering other places to take over.
well, I hear that, but I also heard
Right.
the supervisor say there's a little bit of leeway here for 3 or 4 weeks.
By December 30th.
That's what I'm telling you.
By December 30th.
We're going to pass the resolution.
Okay, so then nothing's coming off or going on until December
Until
30th.
the resolution gets approved.
Tuesday, nothing's official
Uh-huh.
until we.
Nothing's
vote on it.
official. The issue we had when we met, when the board met last week, was the timing of this whole thing. And I don't want to be redundant on what other people have said, but if this seems to be a subject that should be addressed in the spring. Because if you do opt out, you have a chance to hire someone to do the work. You have a chance to get all the monies that you have to collect from your neighbors. Versus now, which is we don't have a budget item for this thing. We only have 4 homes that are year-round residents out of 40. And now, it's going to be like trying to get blood from a stone.
Well, actually,
If this could be a spring issue, if there's any way that this issue can be bypassed until April, I think it makes a heck of a lot more sense.
We don't disagree, but we are where we are. Circumstances have led us to this position, so we're trying to resolve the issue for this winter. So if you stay on the list and you get plowed this year and you want to come off the list because you don't want to take down your private road sign, then we would more easily take you off the list in the spring if that's what you so chose.
Okay, well, I'm going to take that, the president happens to already have left for Florida. I'll contact him and we'll get as many of our members as we can. But I'm not 100% sure that I understand what was the trigger that precipitated this. Is it strictly a budget system? What was the trigger that kicked this whole thing off?
A call from someone saying that their apron had been damaged. I looked at their community. According to our records, they were a private community.
Right.
I then pulled open the New York State Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, that says if you're in a private community, the town is not supposed to be plowing,
Right.
making improvements, expending public funds for a private community. So that's how it came about.
It seems to me that we're killing a fly with a howitzer here, but.
Pretty much. I'm not going to belabor how it came about.
It was more than one.
Let's not belabor how it came about. Let's
No,
move forward.
let's get it on record on how it was. So you don't sit there and think that one person did it.
It's not
It
a
was
question
more
of
than
somebody's
that.
apron being damaged as opposed to a large claim coming in. It's the question of whether the town should be there in a private community
Correct.
versus on a public road. That's the question. I'm a lawyer. That's what I got paid for. That's how I get my salary. I went to school to study law, to study the Constitution. Maybe I get it right, maybe I don't. That's why they call it a practice. Right, Mr. Essex? It's called a practice. Sooner or later, you hopefully get it right. But I still know how to open up a book, which I do better than internet research. And when I opened up the book, I looked at the section and said, why are we doing this? The state says we're not supposed to. If I called the Association of Towns and I said, should we be plowing private roads? The answer from Association of Towns is going to be, Mr. Kozakevich, you should have known that. That was first year law school. The answer is no. So that's how it came about. It's not a sledgehammer looking to squash a fly. And it's been characterized, it's been taken out of proportion, and I know I might be getting a large today because it wasn't meant to kill a fly. It was meant to answer a question, which is the basic question, should we be doing this at all?
And
I didn't ask the next question, which is how long have we been doing this?
Once you ask the next question.
That's the next
that's
question
the
that I failed to
trigger that
answer.
started
As I said, it's a practice.
Well, so your tenure is
All right, so you have till the 30th.
I didn't know it was going
I
on
guess
so
we'll
right.
keep you on the list unless you tell us you want to get off the list.
You will definitely have a letter from the community. For the time being, keep it on the list, but my guess is you're going to get it that we're coming off the list, but that's
good.
just,
Let us know by the 30th.
Okay,
You're
you got
another
it.
community that's all dead end.
It's all dead
There's
ends.
no place to go.
There's
so
no
you
place to
can-
go. They're 11 to 13 feet wide. Anyone that comes in there, they got to either back up their car or turn around in your driveway.
Yeah, you
It-
can't make a U-turn in the
There's nothing.
street.
Those streets go nowhere but to the water.
Because I've been down there and you can't make.
What were you doing there? Do you live there? Are you a resident?
I was looking at the motel. When they were
alone?
fixing the motel up.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Bang the gavel on John
it
Lehman.
easy.
Okay, so are we starting the people want to come off the list? Yes, okay, let's start with the people want to come off the list. Sir, raise your right hand.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you.
My name is Neil McLaughlin, MAYGLOTHLING. I'm the president of the Baywoods Property Owners Association. Lovers Lane, Bay Harbor Road, Leafy Way, Primrose Lane. Primrose Lane was left off the list.
We added it back on
Okay.
there, but now you.
All right, give us those roads again, sir.
Bay Harbor Road, Leafy Way, Lovers Lane, and Primrose Lane.
And you want off.
Based on your comment to the gentleman from Akabak, we may want to reserve until the end of the month. We're leaning that way.
Did you send us a letter to that effect? that you want off? Okay.
No, I did not. An esteemed resident, also an attorney, and I had a meeting with the town attorney yesterday. One thing that I haven't...
And I did go visit your roads.
Great. One thing I haven't yet heard mentioned in the almost 3 hours we've been here is why, Sean, you don't declare a state of emergency when there's a greater than 4-inch snowfall. Because from what I understand, if that was the case, if you did, we wouldn't need these hearings.
We don't now, because that's really killing swatting a fly with a sledgehammer. When you declare a state of emergency, let me back up. When the town hall is opened and the plow trucks and everybody are plowing 9 to 5 or 7 to 3, they're on straight time. If I declare a state of emergency for 4 inches of snow, what I'm signaling is everybody should be off the roads, period. If I'm signaling everybody should be off the roads, period, how do I keep my town hall open? I can't keep my town hall open because I'm telling everybody they have to get off the roads. When I don't keep my town hall open, everybody that is plowing the roads goes on time and a half. So we keep the town, as the county stays open, as most other bigger towns stay open, we'll keep the town open. So what we've done, because the state of emergency, it's not something for 4 inches you would do. What we've done is created a snow code, and we will declare a snow emergency.
Okay, what about for a foot of snow? I mean, I've been here when there's been a foot of snow and a snow emergency hasn't been declared either.
If the county or the state declares a snow emergency, it doesn't matter whether we declare it or not. We're caught up.
So you're not looking locally, you're looking to the county or the state?
I'm looking at what is the purpose of the snow emergency. If I declare a snow emergency, I'm telling everybody, get off the roads. You're not allowed on the roads, you can't open town hall, you can't open anything. And so that's not the way to determine whether your roads get plowed. That's a terrible way to determine whether your roads get plowed.
Okay. I'm not looking to belabor that point. I'm just looking for some clarification.
If I'm going to declare an emergency, when I declare an emergency, there's an emergency. I'm not the supervisor to the south that may be declaring an emergency 2 days before the snowflakes hit. So when I declare an emergency, you better run for cover.
I hear you there. One of the topics of conversation I had yesterday with the town attorney was the possibility of leaving the classification of roads in Bay Woods as private, but offering to the town an easement for the current width and length of our roads specific for snow plowing. The town attorney asked me to bring that up today and present it to the board. That would allow the town to continue to plow our roads but leave our community private. We've got a number of concerns with the public classification for our area. We have deeded rights to our roads that are private, granted by the original homeowner.
Who owns the deed to the roads?
The Bay Woods Property Owners Association.
If you deeded, I guess if you deeded, and I shouldn't be lawyering from.
I think what I told him was I'd have to research the issue to see whether it's permissible.
And you'd have to have, the highway superintendent would have to accept the easement.
No, and that the drawing of that easement would be at our expense. You would just have to accept the easement. We have a great many concerns about our roads becoming public. The town attorney said it this afternoon. He also said it yesterday. He's not able to speak for the board 5 years from now, what the town board may decide to do 5 years from now. We don't want our roads widened. It would change our community. We don't have a safety and health issue. We maintain our own roads. The town has plowed them for greater than 10 years consistently, every snowstorm. But we don't want our roads widened. It would change our community. And now I totally understand the board, the town doesn't have the money to do that. But 5 years from now, who knows what the town board could decide to do.
And this wasn't necessarily a money issue. I mean.
No, totally understand. But the town board of 5 years hence, we don't want to take the chance with the town board 5 years hence, what that board
That's
could
true.
decide to
It would be the
do.
highway superintendent that really would request the widening of the road. But I agree with you.
When Geo came down to our annual meeting in July and we got an initial indication that this was coming down the pike, he complimented us on the way we maintain our roads. Over the past 3 years, we spent $45,000 paving our roads. So we maintain our roads are in good condition. The town has decided and graciously to plow them, and we're happy to have them plowed. But we don't want to give up our private ownership of the roads. So it's great that we have another month to possibly have the town attorney evaluate the deeded status of our roads and whether or not this public identification or status of the roads would affect that, and what, if any, the town highway department, what rights that public status would grant the highway department.
I don't know. I mean,
I'd have to check the constitutionality of it. Mr. Essex is an expert on that.
I think we'll reserve judgment and let Bob do some research.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, thanks very much.
All right, thank you. Next.
Oh, I'm sorry. You swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay.
My name is George Richards. I live with my wife at 17 Beach Road in Laurel, which has been included on your list. We've been there we retired from living in Mattatuck some 14 years ago, and we have been living there full-time since. It's dirt road about a tenth of a mile long. There are about 16 family houses there. I personally have done like 99% of the road maintenance myself, most of the time at my expense. We do have a private contractor who has done the plowing in the past and hopefully this year as well. We are on this list, and I have not been able to talk to all the people on the road, but those I have spoken with would prefer that we are not included on the list because we kind of value our private status and fear that in the future there may be quite an entourage going down our road to our little beach if we don't continue the private status.
So can you let us know as best you can by the 30th, whether you want to be in or out?
Well, I can tell you right now, we went out.
Out. Okay, that's fine. I hope that works. Is he on the list? You're on the list. Beach Road and Laurel. Laura, guess that's out.
Thank you.
I hope the out. Mr. Calamitas take care of that. Next.
Swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Okay, your name, please?
My name is Gardner. Last name is Working, W-E-R-K-I-N-G.
No, okay.
We sent in a letter opting out, Maple Lane, Laurel, New York. There's only 7 houses on the whole road. We have a sign out there, private road, and we've had no trespassing underneath it. We maintain, the 7 residents on the block maintain this road. It's paved. We spent in the last few years at least $15,000 on this.
You already got a letter asking people.
We'll take you off. Not a problem.
That's fine. But also, what we're afraid of, and you say you can't do it, but this road is only 10 feet wide. If this goes public, I can see cars parking on my lawn to get to a right-of-way to the beach, which is also private just for those residents. I have real concerns of, giving up the road to the town for snow removal. And also in the future,
if we needed drainage or so, we have to come to the town because now it's a public highway, and town's not going to do that. Town's not going to repave our street, even though it's claimed a public highway. So there's no benefit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you.
Can we be removed?
Oh, yeah. That's not a problem.
Consider it done.
Removal's easy.
Yeah.
Costs less money.
All right.
I think your wife is behind you.
I have a
Oh.
He wants out.
We have, there's another question. Cedar Court is the next road next to Laurel Lane.
Right.
Not Laurel Lane, Maple Lane. It's a horseshoe around. Now, one gentleman had opted out. He sent the letter in, but he wants to reconsider that.
Right.
What should happen if we opt out, we say private, and they go public?
And you get 2 feet of snow and it doesn't get plowed.
Pile it all on your road.
No.
You're saying Cedar connects to your road?
It goes around, and in the horseshoe, in the middle of the horseshoe, it stops. One is Cedar Court, the other was Maple Lane.
But you can go in and ride right around.
My guess is the
You
plow
go in,
operator's gonna leave the blade down the
and
whole
come
way
around
through.
and come out the other
Okay,
road.
I'll tell you what happened a few years ago. One of the gentlemen that lived on Maple Lane needed an easement for a deck. Cedar Court came to the hearing, we knew nothing about it, and the road used to be blocked off in the middle. The town gave him an easement, but he had to open the road to the Cedar Court and make it a thoroughfare, which I thought was inappropriate at the time, because not one resident from our street knew anything about this, and the town just automatically granted the easement.
I can't speak to that, sir. All I can do is take you, if your community wants to be off the list, we can take your community off the list. If Cedar wants to be on the list, I can't keep track. That's why we have some people taking notes. If they want to stay on the list, they'll stay on the list.
Turn around. Tell them there's no way to turn around.
Well, there's no way to turn around in that road either.
So I would make a guess, and my guess is that when the operator is plowing, it's going to be very difficult for him to lift the blade just to not plow your area, because in theory he could get stuck.
I think what's gonna happen is, so we don't create an issue, is to leave both of them alone. Because if we plow that road and stockpile the stuff up on Maple, then they're gonna be called a complaint. You're opening up a can of worms with that. So you either do it all, or you do it none. If it was a straight dead-end road, that'd be one thing.
Well, I think
Your both roads meet in the back, so when he pushes all the snow and blocks this end, now you got issues. So
I think
you
you're
either
gonna
do it all or you do it none.
I think you're gonna have to make Cedar Court residents advised on that. But as we stand now, Maple Lane, we want to get off the list.
Yeah, you want with that plowing. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Does anybody else wish to be heard tonight?
You swear testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help God.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
My name is John Peck, and I live at 14 Campground Circle in Jamesport. And we're not on a list, and we don't want to be on a list. We treasure our privacy. A lot of people don't even know where we are, and that's the way we like it. So,
well, we're not putting you on the list.
Good.
It's your lucky day. Thank you.
We'll pick up the cost ourselves then for private guys to plow. He did an excellent job for all the 13 years I've been living there, and
You're not
appreciate
on the list now?
Nope, we're not on the list.
Good.
We don't want to be on the list.
Oh,
Okay, very good, please. All right, does anybody else wish to get off the list? We're going to open it up to resident comments. Is there anybody that wants to comment from the public in general? Yes, Ms. Downs.
How do you know my name?
Really?
You see my new one?
No,
I got another one up.
Do you swear
Lori
the
Downs.
testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? so
I
help you
do.
God? Thank you.
Lori Downs, Pulaski Street, Riverhead. I've lived in Pulaski Street for 29 years.
It's on
My-
the list.
My husband, you're on the list. My husband's been there over 40 at the same residence. I speak for myself and for my husband. My husband is a retired highway worker. He was 32 years. In fact, he retired under you, Mr. Kaz. He retired in 2000. He worked under Horton. Horton was brought up. He worked under Horton. However, what's happened over the years is the highway department the town has gotten bigger with all these developments and everything. There are a lot more roads, but the highway department has gotten smaller. And I'm concerned that if now we only have so many men that you have a hard time doing what you got to do, right? When it plows, see? So now,
Lori, it has not gotten smaller under this town board. It is maintained the same. It has maintained
well,
the same.
when my husband retired, it was over 40 people, and that was in 2000.
When under this board, it's maintained the same, and under this board, I really don't think we've taken any roads in because there's been no subdivisions.
But I'm saying, in the 80s, there was that's when the development started. Now, you got, from then, you got less people. You got at least 15 to 20 less people working the highway department. Back in the Horton days, it was who you knew and who lived on the street that you got plowed. You know this. Anybody that's been in Riverhead a long time knows this. So that's why some of these people are like, wait a minute, how come you've been doing it and you weren't supposed to be doing it? Because it was just who you knew and who lived on there, who owned the road, stuff like that. You understand that. Things have changed over the years. And there's this law that they should have known of back then, but they ignored because it's Riverhead. However, another concern of mine is I would like to see the highway department get bigger so this way I don't have to worry about my street because they have all these extra streets to do now. Okay, all these little roads. That's one thing. The second thing, what also was taken away years ago, keep laughing, Jim, what else was taken away was
Facebook about you,
the
Jim.
highway department no longer plows the sidewalks. Now we have safe walks to school. I live on Pulaski Street. We got third and fourth graders.
We had a sidewalk plower.
Third and fourth graders
Can you
walking.
buy one of them?
I have one if you want to drive it and do all the sidewalk. I don't have the personnel.
That's right. He doesn't have the personnel. Third and fourth graders walking down Pulaski Street. Going to school isn't so bad because the traffic isn't that so bad. But when they come out of school, you got all those buses, you got all those cars, all those parents that do pick up. There are a lot of kids whose parents are not home when they leave for school.
Well, the school district plows the sidewalk that we built for them, and that is their responsibility under our
Okay,
town code.
so how do you get from Roanoke Avenue? You got to walk, some of these kids are walking over a mile. Over a mile. You also got high schoolers and middle schoolers. Over a mile to get to school. They got all those sidewalks.
You gotta walk.
Now,
The cemetery is past your house.
the cemetery does not plow, does not.
No, but they gotta walk past. Well, that's
Right, but they don't clean the sidewalks.
No, they don't.
I do. In fact, we had, because our neighborhood is also mostly rentals now or elderly. What's happened now is we had one gentleman that went out and bought a snowblower to do the sidewalks. The poor guy had a heart attack 2 years in a row doing the sidewalks. So that's done. So now you got me, you got my neighbor, you got a person over here, a person over there. So the kids are in the road, on the sidewalk, in the road, on the sidewalk. That whole time from my house to the school, they're in the road.
Gentleman sitting right here can plow
Well,
the
it's all-
sidewalks, I'd be very happy.
It's all part of this
Listen,
whole
I've got
thing.
personnel in the town that
However-
can work in his department to plow the sidewalks. He's been within.
No,
his
it's a
oversight.
resolution that we don't. John was in, so were you. It was
Lori,
under Cardinelli.
Lori, if the highway superintendent wants to plow the sidewalks, we have a personnel within our town that would be willing to work on overtime, on the highway department's overtime dime, to plow the sidewalks. we'd be happy to do it. I'll supply him the personnel.
Well, I'd be
Just
really
tell him
happy
wanna
to
do
see
it.
you
He
up
does
his
it ve-
manpower and give him a little bit more money in order to do these things.
He's done,
I'm not up here to argue with you, Sean.
Lori,
I'm a
Lori.
resident making a comment.
Lori.
I'm not up here to
Lori.
argue with you.
Lori, the highway department, because of the change in our administrative chargebacks that we got rid of, has now, between the town budget and the CHIPS money, $900,000 a year to pave. Before we got in office, that $700,000 used to fund the general fund. Geo just had CHIPS money, and they used to bond paving the roads. So we now pave the roads with highway department money that goes through the annual operating budget instead of paving roads.
I'm not talking about paving
bonding for
roads.
paving.
But why are
what
you
I'm sa-
arguing with me, Sean?
Lori, I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah, you are.
Lori, I'm trying to explain, you're making misstatements. You're saying things that are not accurate, that the highway department, or you're implying the highway department's been cut. The highway department has not been cut.
Okay.
The highway department has money. If the highway superintendent wanted to add a person, that, an additional little person or two, he could come to the town board and ask. I mean, the problem is that he's going to have to do it within the funding that he has. But he does a very good job with his overtime. You underspent your overtime budget last year. I commend you for that. If we needed to put additional personnel, I stand ready to turn over town personnel to the highway department to do the sidewalks. I was not aware we had a sidewalk machine, which is cool. Our B&G guys have a sidewalk machine. Unbeknownst to them, they're going to be doing some of the sidewalks downtown this coming year on a regular basis, and so we'll try to do more of that. But I didn't know, Geo.
At least the sidewalks where the children walk. And it would be the same sidewalks that Safe Walks to School covers. It would be that same area.
Yeah. Griffin
Right?
is one.
It would basically, Griffin Avenue, Pulaski.
Polish Town.
We can work
Polish
together,
Town.
Geo. Does your machine work?
Shouldn't that come under the streets?
My machine has been parked for like 10 years.
Fire it up, Gio.
That's the
Fire it up.
machine
WD-40
it
and a
didn't,
duct tape.
didn't Quasna buy that from upstate or something?
Yeah.
You think it runs?
Oh, we'll get it running. It's kind of hard when you, like I said, like she said, you only have so many people, and you're trying to satisfy everybody, and then you have the rule. I think that homeowners or whoever are responsible for the
homeowner's
maintenance.
The homeowner's responsible for their house.
Property
Thank
owners
you.
too.
So is the cemetery people responsible for the sidewalks in front of
They
the
are.
cemetery?
Okay, we're so far afield of this public hearing.
county
Lori,
The
can
thing
you wrap
is,
it up into a
now
vote?
that at least Pulaski Street has been widened, now when I go and shovel, I'm not just shoveling my sidewalk. I'm shoveling everything that he just threw on my sidewalk. So now you're talking about, instead of this much, I'm trying to shovel this much. It never was like that.
That's not just you.
I know, but it never was like that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Lori, can we
Thank
wrap
you.
this up, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Lori.
Does anybody else wish to be heard tonight?
It never hurts when I can finally get my driveway done, the plow comes.
That's the fact of life. All right, we're going to close the public comment. Did you want to be heard, sir?
It's not about highways.
Okay, then we'll take your public comment as after resolutions.
Or if you want to talk on resolutions, during resolutions.
Or after resolution. Let's close this public comment period, or public comment portion. I'm going to leave it open for written comments until December 12th, 4:30 in the clerk's office. Thank you for those of you that stuck out the whole meeting. Gio, thank you for attending. Don't you want to run for town board now?
Nope, I'm happy with that.
This is, now we're going to do resolutions. Does anybody wish to be heard on a resolution? Sal, you stuck it out to the bitter
Yeah,
end.
I was tempted to leave, let me tell you. Resolution 828. The agreement lacks the amounts that Tanger is going to pay the town for the utilization of police personnel.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the hourly amounts to come to me.
Okay. And on the under Section 4, this must have been a copy of an older one. They talk about Labor Day sales.
Should be Black Friday sales.
Yep, that's it.
All right.
All right, right, that's good.
Very good, thank you.
Anybody
Tom.
else wish to be heard on resolutions only? Oh, is it a resolution, sir?
Yeah, one question's on a resolution.
Okay.
It's the, that's it.
You state your name and
Yes,
hamlet.
Rex James, and, I was asking about resolution 624, or 824. Just wondered what the details of that pilot were.
That's gonna be withdrawn.
It's being withdrawn?
Yeah.
Okay.
824?
If we could, because we still haven't reached
Haven't reached an agreement yet,
We
so
haven't reached an
stay
agreement
tuned.
with SDR, plus there was a couple of scrivener errors, but we haven't gotten to that point yet, so.
Stay tuned.
I thought we were going to be.
Cautiously optimistic. Anybody else on
Exactly.
resolutions? Diane, let's take up the resolutions.
Okay, resolution 809.
809. General Fund Seniors Budget Adjustment, so moved.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 810.
Gulf Riverhead LLC Water Service Capital Project Budget Adoption, so moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 811.
Riverhead Highway District Budget Adjustment, so moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 812.
2013 Wading River Dredging Project closure, so moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 813.
Authorizes Bloomberg, Philharmonics Public Art Challenge Grant Application. What are we doing here?
I'll second, I guess.
This is the
Water fires.
water fires.
The water fire?
Yep,
Okay.
moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 814.
Authorizes NDA,
Non-disclosure agreement.
I knew what that meant, with Barnaby Evans, so moved.
And seconded?
Again, this is water fires, moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 815.
Authorize Our Town grant application to NEA, so moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, this is also water fires, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Good one, eh? Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 816.
Authorizes submission of letter of intent and execution of contract by the supervisor for operation and maintenance grant program to New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 817.
Authorizes Community Development Department to prepare grant application for New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Clean Vessel Assistance Funding and authorizes supervisor to sign contract. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 818.
This appoints police officers to the police department, so moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 819.
Ratifies execution and submission of grant application to Suffolk County fiscal year 2015 Community Development Block Grant Funds. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 820.
Awards bid for town-wide printing. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes, I'm
Dun-
sorry.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 821.
Awards bid for propane. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 822.
This establishes time of regular meetings of the town boards, so moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 823.
Amends Resolution 381 of 2014. That's a special use permit petition of 626 West Main Street Realty LLC. So moved.
seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution
I'm
adopted.
gonna withdraw this one.
Yes.
Resolution 824.
Yes, please.
I make a motion, we withdraw resolution number 824.
Second.
Moved and seconded as to withdraw.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution 824 is withdrawn. 825.
Authorize the town supervisor to execute agreement between the town of Riverhead and Darby Group Companies Incorporated. So moved.
And second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 826.
This ratifies the co-sponsorship of weekly Saturday/Sunday craft vendor market from November 22nd to December 28th, 2014, with the Riverhead Business Improvement District Management Association Incorporated. It authorizes approval of a license agreement with designated craft vendors. Authorizes amended lease agreement with property owners regarding real property located at 221 East Main Street and Riverhead. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 827.
Authorize the supervisor to execute a license agreement with Kiwanis Club of Greater Riverhead for storage for toys for tots. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 828.
Ratifies the agreement between Tanger Properties Limited Partnership and the town of Riverhead in connection with Black Friday sales as amended. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded as amended, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 829.
Pay bills. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution
All right,
adopted.
there's 4 to come off the floor. Is everybody
Four?
okay with all 4?
Oh,
Yes.
I only had 3. No, I had 4. Hold on.
I'd like to make a motion, we take resolution 830, 831, 832, and 833 off the floor. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded as to taking 830 through 833 off the floor.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolutions 830 through 833 are taken off the floor. Now I'll call resolution 830.
830 authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with Flint Stenography and Transcription Services for court reporter services for the December 16th town board meeting. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 831.
Rescinds award for on-site grinding of town yard waste and reawards bid to second lowest bidder. So moved.
Sorry.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 832.
Approves participation in Peconic Land Trust grant application. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 833.
Authorization to publish advertising for on-site grinding of town yard waste. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Okay, now we open up the town board meeting for public comment. Does anybody wish to be heard on any matter? Yes, do you? Okay, go ahead.
Rex James, and from Region Solar, representing Melissa Daniels and Tony Caggiano regarding the Plant Connection application to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Are you an attorney?
No, I'm with the with the developer. I've been working with them on the project. Okay. The Tony and Melissa actually were here earlier. They thought that it probably wouldn't be with the mob that was here. They thought that you guys would be worn out, and so they said in lieu of taking. You guys look pretty fresh. So they thought in lieu of bringing it up today, they requested that they get an opportunity to set appointments and meet with members of the board between now and the 11th regarding the ZBA basically didn't make a decision on their application for relief from the zoning. They were smiling favorably as were you guys back in August, when we left here. But they said that they need to go back to town council. They said it was a town council issue. They felt as though they didn't have the right to approve it. And
Well, they're free to make appointments with the town boards. Carissa Willis, town board member Carissa Willis is a town board coordinator that you can meet 2 at a time. I probably wouldn't take the meeting only because I'm an attorney, and I know they're represented by Steve Angel, who's been trying to reach me on this point, and I would only take the meeting with Steve Angel present. So I will call.
Are you?
I'm an attorney. I just don't feel
Right.
comfortable.
So are you so I can tell them? Are you likely to meet with them if they come with Steve Angel? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that we would all be that way, in meeting with the attorney present, and with our town attorney also, seeing as it might be a potential problem.
Well, it's not a problem. It's a problem because I feel uncomfortable as an attorney.
Yeah.
I don't represent the town, but I'm not permitted to talk to somebody that is represented by an attorney without an attorney present from an ethical standpoint.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessitate the same situation for the others, does it?
No, no, it's certainly.
So what type of relief are they looking for?
They
That the town board could do at this point?
When we left August 5th, when we had the open meeting about the zoning, you guys specifically, John, you had said to them, listen, you guys, you've already got this in process. You've got a contract with LIPA. You're made an appeal to the Zoning Board of Appeals. You're doing all the right process. That the ruling that was intended to block large solar, didn't necessarily relate to the small project that they were doing and the uniqueness of their application. They're building the vertical.
The one with the regional property?
The vertical plantings on the back of the solar on the racks, so dual purpose. So it's virtually an accessory structure, but it happens to have solar. So so you had said, go ahead, go to the zoning board of appeals.
My question is, if you still got an active case with the ZBA, at what point is the town board going to interfere with that?
Well, the ZBA specifically said you guys need to go back to the town council.
To rezone the property.
Which is part of a larger issue.
Well, that's
We're discussing an
I don't think that
advisory, so I don't know why.
I don't think the request is not to rezone the property.
Is it a special permit?
A use variance, is that what they're looking for?
The aspect is that the zoning board of appeals could either grant a use variance or accessory structure. That's the context of it. It's not about.
What do they want us to do?
Apparently there's something that showed up in their paperwork. The attorney was not present, but he left them with something that we don't know that put the fear of God in them that they should pass this or whatever.
Okay, so it comes down to something very simple.
Okay.
The town board prohibited the solar arrays in the APZ zone. When we did that, the zoning board of appeals really doesn't have the authority to act on it, however they may personally feel about it, because we've usurped that authority. It's in Ag Advisory Committee with George Gabrielson.
Right now
My recommendation would be to coordinate first with George Gabrielson, because the town board usually doesn't act on these things until it gets a committee. We don't have to wait for a committee recommendation, but that's what we typically do.
Right. So you understood at the August 5th meeting and the presentation the exceptional uniqueness of what they were doing.
Completely.
And the zoning board is understandably
powerless to do anything
zoning
about
board of appeals is to grant exceptions to rulings. It's their definition.
This is the town board prohibited it.
But they prohibited with consideration with the comments that they would be considering amending.
In Ag Advisory. So your meeting would be potentially.
And let me update you. It's been in Ag Advisory the last couple of months as a topic, okay? The last meeting we had was about 3 weeks ago. The principals that you're talking about sat in and gave their comments to Ag Advisory. They digested it. They were here.
Okay.
So they already got to that point, and Ag Advisory wasn't going to make a decision today. There's so many different issues involved with the zoning change.
So the timing
So it did
aspect
go to
of
Ag
it,
Advisory
right.
with them sitting there.
Right, and the uniqueness.
So you're looking for quicker relief.
Well, you
and
had-
probably because you got a deadline to
Yes.
meet. So
Yes.
you're just trying to push it, and I understand that. You're trying
And
to
it
get
was
through.
appreciated by everyone,
Right.
both at your board meeting on August 5th,
So I don't know if there's any way
and with
we
the
can push it
APZ,
faster
that they
through.
appreciated that there was that there's a deadline that the power utility
What is the deadline?
has. Well, the APZ said, we'll push it off to our next meeting in order to give you some time to talk to the town board. And
Well,
they,
I think they said we'll push it off to the next meeting till you can talk with Life and see if you can get an extension on your day.
no, both.
I've heard that.
Well,
So
no,
now
well,
we're twisting
no,
a little
no. They said specifically so you guys need to take it back to the town board,
This
verbatim.
is not the appropriate forum
So-
for this conversation.
So in any event, they said that it would be moot. It would be moot if we could not get an extension from LIPA.
What is the right? So what is the deadline date?
So
right
we
now?
got an extension of LIPA till the 15th, which
Of-
carries us past
of December.
ZBA's next meeting.
Of December.
Of December, yeah. So.
I don't see how legislation get through before that. I can't. There's no way. Between the different hearings,
But
the Ag
doesn't,
Advisory Committee
and we're
will
not
have-
looking, and we're not looking for legislation. We're looking for a zoning board of appeals. We're looking for
Can't get that.
for them
We
to.
prohibited that in the APZ. There's a
So
prohibition.
you had no intention of having any exceptions to that rule.
We prohibited it until the town board changes that prohibition through the public hearing process. The zoning board of appeals should not approve the application. But we are so far afield of where this is right now, and I know they're represented by Steve Angel. I'm ending the conversation. I'm going to say, coordinate a meeting with the individual town board members if you wish. But
I think
this
that issue
so
is
far
whether
afield of-
whether there is no consideration for exceptions.
I'm saying we're so far afield of what we should be discussing, considering the circumstances, considering they're represented by a lawyer.
Right.
As certain things were said, I don't want to put the town in a position that we could say something at this table that will be
Yeah,
misconstrued and used against us in litigation. So, that being said, feel free,
The
call
other-
Carissa
right.
Willis.
And
We're ending the
right.
conversation now.
Okay.
Call Carissa Willis.
Okay.
Set up an appointment. If you want me to speak with them, I don't mind with Steve Angel. We have played telephone tag for the past 6 or 8 days, so
Okay.
eventually we'll talk.
All right. I appreciate it, and they'll be in touch with the rest of you guys
Thank you.
individually.
Coordinated with all of us.
Thanks very
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to be heard tonight? Can I get a motion to
Make a
adjourn?
motion, we adjourn the town board meeting.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
What listen, this has nothing to do with.
Need help getting out of my
So is
chair.
there any reason he's not doing private roads because the town board won't give him money?
I have no idea. I was just trying to get through this without